I'm Grant Enfinger.
He's got the bottom of the racetrack now. Grant Enfinger goes to the lead.
The following is a presentation of the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
It's time for some playoff racing at NASCAR's biggest, baddest, fastest track. Today, 36 trucks will take to the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway. But for 8 of those 36, there is more on the line than just a checkered flag. This race is the first of 3 in the round of 8 of the Craftsman Truck Series playoffs, meaning a spot in the Championship 4 is on the line. Of the 8 remaining who will race for a championship, Alabama native Grant Enfinger is the only one who has a win previously at Talladega. For one of his fellow playoff competitors, Taylor Gray, today is about surviving and staying under the radar until the time is right.
I need to stay under the radar. I need to stay kind of in my own lane. I don't want to be talked about at all throughout the whole day until the end. That's a race that you have to survive, and you have to be there at the end. My game plan and my mindset going into Talladega is just I don't want my name mentioned at all until towards the end of the day.
When the checkered flag falls, will we know the first driver advancing to Phoenix? Or will a driver from outside the playoffs play spoiler? The Love's RV Stop 225 is next.
NASCAR Live Race Day is brought to you by Toyota. For the latest Toyota racing information, visit toyotaracing.com.
On a rare Friday afternoon, NASCAR is set to take on the Talladega Superspeedway with the Craftsman Truck Series running the Love's RV Stop 225. This is race 1 in the round of 8 as the playoffs continue today, part of a big triple-header weekend of racing right here at Talladega. All of it live on the Motor Racing Network. Jeff Striegel alongside, as always, is Alex Hayden, and we're broadcasting from the Barney Hall broadcast booth. 85 laps, 226 miles. Call it a wild card race. Call it an opportunity for a first-time winner. Alex, called a chance for a driver to punch their ticket through to Phoenix.
Yeah, absolutely. All 3 of those things will come into play, we expect. When you look at the numbers, they're facts. The past 8 races here at Talladega have been won by 8 different drivers. Take that a step further. 4 of the last 5 Talladega races, the driver that won got their first career NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series win. 5 of the last 6 winners at Talladega, well, they only led 1 lap, and it was the last lap. You mentioned the playoff drivers, Jeff, have the opportunity to go ahead and stamp their passport to go on to Phoenix in the Championship 4. Well, a playoff driver has never won the playoff race here at Talladega.
So how do you approach this event? This is a short relative sprint race. Now, again, it's 226 miles, but it's only 85 laps. Stage 1 is done at lap 20, stage 2 at lap 40. 45 more is going to take us to the checkered flag. Obviously, you want to avoid somebody else's mess. If you're a playoff driver trying to get to the checkered flag, how do you do it?
Great question. You better have a good fast race truck. You better have some wisdom and some patience as a driver, and you better be on the good side of Lady Luck because it's certainly going to come into play.
It is race number 20 of the 2024 season for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series this afternoon from Talladega. Talladega Superspeedway, one of the most difficult tracks to win at. Well, let's find out what it takes to win right here. Grant Enfinger has done that in the past. I believe it was 2016 when Grant went to victory lane here to Talladega Superspeedway. Let's get his thoughts now. Back downstairs to the postman.
Yes, Grant Enfinger going to start in position number 4 here. Grant, Jeff Striegel and I want to know, and all of our listeners, of course, what does it take to win here at Talladega Superspeedway?
I mean, there's a lot in our control, but obviously speedway racing, there's a lot out of your control as well. But at the end of the day, you got to execute just like we do each and every week. There's just as many variables in our control this week as there was last week at Kansas, but there's more unknowns, obviously, and more of your future is dictated by the guys around you. So, number 1, you need a fast truck. I think so guys will go with you. Number 2, I think you got to be aggressive. You're not going to win this race playing it conservative. I think the first part of that equation, I think we got a fast champion of our equipment Chevrolet. Hard to say how it's going to handle after qualifying, but we definitely have some speed in it. So very proud of Jeff Stankwitz and all our guys at CR7 Motorsports. This is the same truck we had at Daytona, and they've made it light years better.
Wow, there we go. That sounds good. You talk about being aggressive, and we talked about winning the race, but there's also a point variable of this, and there's stages. How do you manage all of this, Grant?
I think for us, where we're at in the playoffs, it's pretty simple. We just need as many stage points as we can and need to win the race. So it's pretty simple for where we're looking at it, the outside looking in. So obviously a lot's going to get shaken up after today. But our plan is to be aggressive, but also be smart as well. Don't make a move that's got a 20% success rate, but maybe make a move that's got a 70 or 80% success rate and hope for the best.
That's Grant Enfinger. He talks about his spot in the point standings, 7 seed, 11 points back. A stage and a half, he can be right up there in the mix, back in the hunt again, and we'll see how it fares. Aggressive is the approach, how to win races and do well here at Talladega Superspeedway.
He is an Alabama native, is Grant Enfinger from Fairhope, Alabama. We'll go from an Alabama native to a Texas native. As a matter of fact, Willow Park, Texas is where Caden Honeycutt calls home. He's 21 years of age. No, not a playoff driver, at least not this year. For more on that story, here's Jason Toy.
Well, the nice thing about it for Caden Honeycutt, he has had some very, very good races this season, driving for Nice Motorsports in the Chevrolet, and that's been rewarded. He's going to go full-time racing coming up next season here behind the wheel of this Phil Gould-led team. And all right, congratulations first. You already had a big victory this year. This week you're going to go full-time racing in this truck next year. How important is that for you as you get ready to close out this year?
Yeah, it's pretty big, especially if we want to go into the playoffs for next season and try to improve to run for a driver's championship and also an owner's title. So I feel like we've had really good speed this year, man. We just had a lot of stuff that just didn't go right. So yeah, this right now is completely a build moment, and obviously we want to win. Everyone on this team wants to win. So anything short of that's a disappointment. So that's what we're going to focus on the next couple weeks and focus on getting better, especially for next year. And right now, I need to really get good at this to go to Daytona. So yeah, there's a lot of factors in right now. So I'm going to go lap by lap and see what happens here in the front of the field, and if we want to go forward or go backwards or ride or chill. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, like I said, this is really a build moment right now for next year.
All right, a building moment could be a victory here today at Talladega. That's Caden Honeycutt. He's getting ready to roll off from the 18th spot.
Now back to the playoff picture. You heard Grant Enfinger a moment ago say we're on the outside looking in. Well, he's not alone. There are 4 drivers on the outside looking in, meaning they are below the cut line to advance. And one of those drivers, seated 8th of 8th, is Taylor Gray. Let's get his thoughts as we go back downstairs. Jason?
Yeah, he's 15 points to or below the cut line, we should say. So with that in mind, does that simplify your game plan today? You just got to get points anyway, and any way you can.
Yeah, Dylan, definitely just got to have a smooth day. Really just got to stay out of harm's way as best as we can, and try to come out of here with some good points and head on to Homestead. It's kind of one of those places where you don't want to be too greedy, because once you start getting greedy, you're going to get yourself in trouble. So we really just want to set ourselves up for the next 2 races and not get ourselves in a bad position.
So how do you balance that early with stage points online when starting where you start? How do you balance that, being too aggressive and getting what you can get?
Yeah, I think it helps with us qualifying good, starting 5th. I think that's going to help our case. Just being patient, wrapping the bottom, and not making obnoxious moves really is kind of what my game plan is.
All right, that's Taylor Gray, starts 5th, just needs a quiet, consistent day, and they'll be on to Homestead.
15 points out of the playoff cut line right now. We go from Taylor Gray to a driver who's plus 29. That's Christian Eckes, and he's with Steve Post.
Christian Eckes down here. Christian, we just talked to Taylor Gray. We just talked to Grant Enfinger. We talked about their position outside of the playoff bubble. 29 points to the good. What does that mean for you as you enter this topsy-turvy race here at Talladega?
To just make smart decisions. Yeah. I mean, that's the biggest thing in speedway racing in general, is just to make smart decisions and be there at the end, which we've done for the most part, but I've made a couple critical mistakes here last year that cost us stage points and a win. So just kind of learning from that, and yeah, that's it. Just make smart decisions today.
End of the day, a win here puts you into Phoenix. How much is that going to be crossing your mind, and likely the rest of the playoff drivers as well, because this is the path to the championship run?
Yeah, for sure. You know, it'd be big to come win, and then you have to worry about the next 2 weeks. You just worry about Phoenix, but you can never rely on that. So our number 1 priority is points, and if we can get the win in the process, that'd be great.
Love it. Number 1 priority, points. That's Christian Eckes, 29 to the good as he enters here at Talladega Superspeedway.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Cole Custer, as we mentioned, the 2023 NASCAR Xfinity Series champion, joining us upstairs in the Barney Hall broadcast booth. And Cole, you just heard, I don't know, many different ways to approach this race here at Talladega. What are your thoughts as we get ready to put him under the green flag?
Man, well, I mean, it's Talladega. I mean, this is going to be the most chaotic race of the year. Probably, I mean, for sure in the playoffs, the most tense race that every single one of these playoff drivers has. And when you hear a lot of them talk, there are a lot of talk of, how do we just get to the end? How do we make smart moves? Don't do anything obnoxious. But wait till lap one, and all these guys are pushing and shoving and beating doors, and it's going to be chaotic because there's a lot of guys on different agendas.
With so many points on the line, Cole, in relatively quick stages. Stage 1 will end at lap 20, and then stage 2 will be 20 more laps at lap 40. How aggressive as a driver can you afford to be, knowing that you got to look at the big picture too?
Well, if you're going to win this thing, you got to be aggressive. You got to be up front. You got to make blocks. You got to push. So you got to take some risk if you're going to win this thing. So it's kind of a nightmare as a playoff driver because at the end of the day, you're taking a lot of risk. And even when you think you're safe, you're not safe. So you really got to make sure that you're really taking what it gives you today, and hopefully you're in the right spot at the right time.
And again, that is Cole Custer, 2023 NASCAR Xfinity Series champion. He'll be with us all afternoon long, and we'll talk about him again tomorrow when the Xfinity Series goes. Two drivers did not make the race. Now, one of them was Keith McGee, but he will substitute and step in for Brian Doza. The other one that did not make the race is Timmy Hill. Now, let's go trackside for pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise as you are able. Remove your hats, and veterans render a hand salute as the Southern Prep Academy Army Junior ROTC Color Guard presents our nation's colors. Here to offer today's invocation, please welcome from Lawrence County Dream Center, Pastor Mitch Hallmark.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you today for this amazing track and this opportunity to come together. Lord, we pray. We thank you for this beautiful weather, Lord. And Lord, we just ask, Lord, your hand of protection would be upon the drivers and the crew chiefs and the families, Lord, coming and going. And Father, we thank you for the opportunity to be here and witness this wonderful event today, God. And Father, we know your word says that you heal the brokenhearted and that you encourage, God, and you comfort. And God, we just ask on behalf of our brothers and sisters in the Carolinas, Lord, that you would just heal them and let them know that help is on the way. And we ask all this in the strong and powerful name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome the Academy for Classical Education's Senior High Choir.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early lights what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose fresh ice and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, he proved through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
Pre-race ceremonies wrapping up. The drivers eagerly now jump into the cockpit of their race trucks. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is next. From Talladega Superspeedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Live on the Motor Racing Network, it's the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Let's get a big thumbs up. Get ready to rock and roll past the race cars today, pal. Pull boys, let's execute. Have a good day.
Today, the Love's RV Stop 225 from Talladega Superspeedway. Brought to you by Craftsman. Shop for special deals at Ace Hardware. Visit craftsman.com/deal of the race. By Geico. Geico's mobile app has 24/7 claim service and on-the-go policy info. It's easy to Geico. By Straight Talk Wireless. Official partner of NASCAR. Real unlimited data. Less dollars, more sense. By Blue Green Vacations, the official vacation ownership provider of NASCAR, invites you to believe in the power of vacation. By Toyota. For the latest Toyota racing information, visit toyotaracing.com. And by Sunoco. From NASCAR to your car, Sunoco Fuel helps your car reach peak performance.
Back here at Talladega Superspeedway after qualifying earlier today, William Sawalich won pole position. There will be 4 drivers falling to the back of the field for the start of the race for various reasons. One, it was originally qualified, the truck was, by Brian Doza. They've had a driver change. Brian Doza is stepping out of the truck, and Keith McGee, the Alaska United States Air Force man, is going to jump behind the wheel of that truck. Tanner Gray will drop to the tail end of the field for unapproved adjustments. Daniel Dye will go to the back of the field. He did not get a chance to qualify. They had a window net infraction on their truck. And Lane Riggs also did not get to qualify. He'll start at the back of the field. Lane Riggs and that team failed pre-race inspection not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Do they hook up and drive to the front? We'll find out together here momentarily. Remember now, this is race 1, round of 8, Talladega, Homestead, Miami, Martinsville. Those are the 3 races in the round of 8. Then we'll decide a championship at Phoenix. For the drivers, the 4 above the cut line, Alex Hayden up by 38. Comfortable at the moment. Corey Heim up 29. Chris Janekis up 14. Ty Majeski up 8. Nick Sanchez.
Cole Custer in the broadcast booth with us. You're an Xfinity Series champion. You've been through this type of playoff format. How nerve-wracking is it?
Oh, it's super hard because there's no way to predict exactly what's going to happen. You could do everything right today, and somebody could get sideways and take you out. So at the end of the day, as a playoff driver, this place is a nightmare to have. But at the end of the day, you just control what you can control. You try and not make those huge moves that are going to take you out of contention. You try and get some good stage points, and you try and be there at the end.
So we gave you the 4 above the cut line. Those that come in below, down 8. Rajah Caruth, down 11. Tyler Ankrum and Grant Enfinger. Taylor Gray, down 15. Back to the same question, essentially, Cole. How do you approach it if you're one of those 4 drivers? You mentioned stage points. How do you get them?
well, you got to make moves. I mean, you got to go out there in the draft, and you got to try and make moves, get to the front. You got to make 3 wide moves. You got to block. You got to do everything that it takes to win at this place and be aggressive. So, and with that comes a lot of risk. So you have a lot of people that have different agendas today. You know, the guys that aren't in the playoffs, they're going to be going for the win. They're going to be super aggressive. You got the guys in the playoffs who are maybe a little bit less aggressive. So we're going to see how those two worlds collide.
These trucks draft much different than their cars do, and they put on an outstanding show. Now let's go trackside to get the command.
Talladega, this is the moment you've been waiting for. Please welcome, on behalf of Loves, Thomas Love.
On behalf of my family and all the Loves team members across the country, drivers, start your engines!
That is what we've been waiting for on a Friday afternoon. The Talladega Superspeedway, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, lined up and ready to go live on the Motor Racing Network. The past 8 races here at the Talladega Superspeedway at this level have been won by 8 different drivers. We'll introduce those drivers to you when we come back from Talladega Superspeedway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Now, here's the starting lineup.
36 truck drivers are ready to go. Johnny Sauter is going to use a past champions provisional to put himself in the field. He'll start 36. Daniel Dye will start 35th. Alex explained why. Same for Tanner Gray, 34th, and Lane Riggs, 33rd. Starting 32nd, Bailey Curry. Norm Benning in the field. He'll go from 31st.
Dawson Sutton will start 30th. Mason Maggio starts 29th. Danny Bone is the 28th starter, and Jason White starts 27th. Stuart Friesen qualified 26th. Corey Roper goes 25th. Brian Doza qualified his truck 24th, but again, a driver change. Keith McGee now in that truck. Stephen Parsons will start 23rd. Ryan Reed back in NASCAR racing. He'll start 22nd. And Clay Greenfield starts 21st.
Spencer Boyd will start 20th. Brett Holmes from 19th, starting 18th. Caden Honeycutt. Matt Crafton from 17th, starting 16th. Lawless Allen. Chris Christian Eckes will start 15th. Dean Thompson will start 14th. 13th starter Rajah Caruth. Connor Zilich will start in position number 12, and Nick Sanchez ready to go. He'll start 11th.
Jake Garcia will start 10th. Corey Heim qualified 9th. Matt Mills is the 8th starter. Tyler Ankrum starts 7th. Chase Purdy 6th. Taylor Gray starts 5th, I should say. Starting 4th is Grant Enfinger, the 3rd starter. Ty Majeski. Ben Rhodes on the front row, and William Sawalich just now grabbing his first career pole here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He does it right here one day after his 18th birthday.
He does it on a 2.66-mile Talladega Superspeedway. 36 race teams ready to go for 85 laps, 226 miles. Stage 1, as a reminder, done at lap 20. Stage 2 at lap 40, then 45 more laps to the black and white checkered flag. We'll talk about overtime a little bit later on. Let's take you for a swing around the racetrack right now. 3 more gentlemen ready to call the action for you here this afternoon on the Motor Racing Network. Outside turn 2, there is always from Barry, Vermont, it is Dave Moody.
Thank you, Jeff Striegel. Good afternoon once again, everybody. Welcome to turns 1 and 2 here at the Talladega Superspeedway, the southeast end of this sprawling complex. Turns 1 and 2 banked 33 degrees, wide enough to run 3 wide, maybe even 4 when things get aggressive. That banking falls away very quickly here at the exit of turn 2 to just 3 degrees on the Alabama Gang super stretch. Lots of drafting, lots of lane changes, lots of blocking, particularly in the late going. Always an exciting place to watch a race. We are high above turn 2 in the Sunoco stand. Now let's go to the other end of the back straightaway in Milford, Delaware's Mike Bagley.
Thank you, Dave, and good afternoon, everybody. Dave talks about all the movement that takes place in turns 1 and 2, and whatever you decide to do in 1 and 2, this is where you execute it. This is where you bring the moves to life, and more times than not, you're going to need the draft in order to execute those maneuvers. It's 4,000 feet from the exit of turn 2 to the entrance of turn number 3, and a lot can happen in this 3/4 of a mile. 2 and 3 wide. You cannot shove the truck in front of you, but you can tap the back bumper and do everything you can to try to propel your lane forward. Success comes in numbers, meaning you need as much drafting help as possible. If it dissipates, your chance to win this race may dissipate along with that. We'll cover all the action down the Alabama Gang super stretch this afternoon. When they race past me, it's back up into the banking of turns 3 and 4, and they'll race into the view of Anaheim, California's Dan Hubbard.
Thank you, Mike, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm stationed at the turn 4 party balcony with a great view of turns 3 and 4, which many drivers told me they are virtually identical to turns 1 and 2. Both ends of Talladega are banked at 33 degrees. Both are about 40 feet wide, but if there is a difference, it's the bottom lane of turn 3. It's bumpy. It's just something all the drivers have to manage, but it does get their attention, particularly if they receive that ill-timed push from behind or a slap from the side. That, along with the bumps, well, that can upset the balance of the truck very quickly. Now, barring that, we'll see 2 and 3 wide formation racing, close quarters racing, brilliant passes and near misses, and perhaps a spin or two. It's all part and parcel of racing here at Talladega. I'll cover the action for you at turns 3 and 4. After the field flies by me, it's up through the tri-oval and back to the stripe and into the view of our anchors for today's broadcast, Jeff Striegel and Alex Hayden.
Along with NASCAR Xfinity Series champion Cole Custer. We get to the tri-oval here at Talladega. It's banked at 16.5 degrees, but no rest for the weary. To get to the finish line, you got to go past the tri-oval all the way down to the short straightaway. From Talladega Superspeedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Just getting the one-to-go signal. Time for a final trip down the pit lane, and it's presented to you by Straight Talk Wireless, official partner of NASCAR. Real unlimited data, less dollars, more cents. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Steve Post.
Connor Zilich making his first start here at Talladega Superspeedway. Starts in the 12th spot. He's made 4 starts this season. Best finish is 4th at the Circuit of America. His crew chief, though, has a lot of success here. Brian Patty has a Cup Series win with Ricky Stenhouse Jr., an Xfinity win way back with Joe Nemechek. I chatted with Connor, asked him, how do you prepare? And he said, other than watching Talladega Nights, there's not a whole lot he can do. We'll see what the youngster, the 18-year-old, does starting here today. Jason Toy?
9 less laps is what we have in this Craftsman Truck Series race compared to what we had last year. What's that do to strategy for the crew chiefs? Well, it comes down to the tires. Last year with those 9 extra laps, those drivers at the 2 tires started to see blistering on the back end of the race. We're going to see what kind of decisions are made with the crew chiefs down here on this end of pit road. How about in front of you, Dylan?
Grant Enfinger is in the round of 8 for the playoffs after a gritty round 1 that saw finishes of just 13th, 17th, and 9th. But he's the lone playoff driver with a win here at Talladega. And that may be the experience that he needs today. This CR7 team, still a small team, doing a lot with a little, and their veteran driver may have just enough today to propel them to a shot to fight for a championship in Phoenix.
And there is your broadcast team for you this afternoon. Dave Moody, Mike Bagley, Dan Hubbard in the turns, the postman, Steve Post, Jason Toy, Dylan Welch on pit road, Jeff Striegel alongside Alex Hayden, and the Xfinity Series champ Cole Custer.
Field makes its way into the tri-oval. Pace truck driver is Eric Johnson. He'll get off the racetrack, and the field now tightly bunches up 2 by 2 to call the start of the Love's RV Stop 225 for the Motor Racing Network from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Here's Jeff Striegel.
A Friday afternoon of NASCAR racing, race 1 of the round of 8, race 20 of 2024, Talladega Superspeedway. The Love's RV Stop 225, and the trucks are underway. Green flag is in the air, and the field now rumbles off to turn number 1.
Up to speed, they come into the banking of turn number 1. William Sawalich able to get away with the lead. That will allow Ben Rhodes to slide back down in his wake. He'll take second in the low line. Low line for the moment is the fast line.
Here they come out of turn number 2. Takes about a full lap to get these trucks to full song, and the harmony is beginning to commence halfway down the Alabama Gang Superstretch. William Sawalich out with the lead. Ben Rhodes behind him in second. Ty Majeski nestles in third.
First time into turn 3 comes the field, led by William Sawalich. A hard push from Ben Rhodes. Single file among the top 3, although here comes a move from Grant Enfinger around the outside. He's trying to wrestle away the 3rd position from Ty Majeski.
Back to the tri-oval. Each lane, inside lane, middle lane, have plenty of drafting help. They rumble their way through the tri-oval. Grant Enfinger will swing around from the outside. He'll lead lap number 1.
Here they come into turn number 1 without practice. These drivers are just really now feeling out their trucks, finding out what they've got and what they need. For Grant Enfinger, high marks in the early going as he cruises at the front of the pack. Here comes Chase Purdy to the outside.
Grant Enfinger was leading the outside. He'll dip down across the nose of William Sawalich. Now he'll bring it back to the top lane, and he's got Chase Purdy tucked in behind them as the outside lane will lead to 3.
Chase Purdy took a brief look to the inside of Grant Enfinger, thought better of it, now goes to the outside and draws up alongside our leader, Grant Enfinger. 2 by 2 by 2 from the first row all the way back, 10 rows deep. They make their way off turn 4, head back up the front straightaway.
And by the way, William Sawalich, who scored the pole position, has never run a lap in practice here. These are the first laps he's run. He lines up right now on the inside, right behind Grant Enfinger.
Doing a little bit of learning for sure. Enfinger has fallen back, at least for the moment, into the number 2 position as the top line rolls, led by Chase Purdy. Purdy now will drop down across the nose of Grant Enfinger.
And that will leave Matt Mills to lead the outside line out of turn number 2. Mills and company inching closer towards the top spot, as now Mills will get a fender out in front. Matt Mills will grab sole possession of the lead for a moment in 3.
He does just for a moment, but Chase Purdy comes back hard down on that lower lane, so Chase Purdy gets a nose out in front. It's Mills and Purdy absolutely side by side. Behind them is Grant Enfinger and Jake Garcia as Ben Rhodes has to duck out of line. Ben Rhodes slowing down. He's going to make a pit stop, it looks like.
He is making his way to pit lane, Dan, because he has been busted by NASCAR for a start violation. A pass-through penalty for Ben Rhodes as the field rumbles to turn 1.
Into the banking of turn 1 they come, and it's pace car formation right now. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, nose to nose, all the way to the very back of the pack. At the front, Matt Mills on the outside, Chase Purdy down low.
Side by side for the lead at the Alabama Gang Super Stretch. No one lane getting the clear, distinct advantage. They are locked at the hip, but now the inside line advances as Grant Enfinger shoves Chase Purdy to the lead.
Chase Purdy trying to open up a little bit of room between himself and Grant Enfinger, not having much success, not even half a car length. So Enfinger now will ride in that second spot. They're side by side for third. Again, that's where you'll find Matt Mills and now William Sawalich.
Last lap, 185 miles an hour. That is 10 miles an hour quicker than what William Sawalich ran in qualifying. They are flat getting around this racetrack. Bad news to worse news for Ben Rhodes.
Yeah, it is. Cole Custer, you kind of looked at me and said it a moment ago. Ben's going to have to make another pass-through penalty. Cole, why?
Well, I saw him coming off pit road, and then he started blending on the racetrack in turn 1. I was like, no, don't do that. You have to run the blend. You have to run the apron through 1 and 2, and he blended improperly, so he's going to have to make another pass-through down pit road.
And you know that right now Ben Rhodes is kicking himself because he knows better than that. And here he comes again for a second trip. Ben Rhodes more than likely is going to go a lap down, but we are already just 15 laps away from the end of stage number 1. It is Grant Enfinger down on the inside of the racetrack as they come rumbling by the start-finish line. Matt Mills alongside, lined up 2 by 2 front to tail.
Here they come into turn number 1 as the machine of Ben Rhodes now below the yellow line. The double yellow line will come off pit road. He is going to be gobbled up by that pack as they race their way to the Alabama Gang Super Stretch.
Here comes Ben Rhodes. He's going to stay on the apron. He's not going to ease up onto the racetrack. Oh, now he does, and that forces the field to shift drivers right. Ben mid-pack as everybody shuffling around him 2 wide and 3 wide.
Meanwhile, up at the front, it is hot and heavy, absolutely side by side with Grant Enfinger and Matt Mills. They are just in front of Jake Garcia and Chase Purdy. Close quarters racing here all the way around turns 3 and 4 with Enfinger and Matt Mills struggling over the top spot.
Got a bit hairy there as Ben Rhodes blended up on the Alabama Gang Super Stretch, but hey, that's the rule. That's what he did. He's now in the middle of this lead pack on the inside lane. At the front of the field, Dave, Matt Mills is the race leader.
But only by about a bumper as Grant Enfinger continues to pound away at that inside line. He's got drafting help down low from Chase Purdy and William Sawalich. Mills on the outside lane. He's got drafting help from Jake Garcia.
Seesaw battle for the lead. First Enfinger will lead, then Mills will lead. Now it's Matt's turn to take the top of the leaderboard. Not for long. Here comes Purdy shoving Enfinger to the point in 3.
And that does push out Grant Enfinger. Now he has what I will call in quotation marks a comfortable lead over the second place battle of Matt Mills and Chase Purdy. It won't take long before they catch Enfinger on the side. Here comes Matt Mills gaining the momentum on that outside
sideline.
Grant Enfinger from the bottom to the middle, back to the bottom, back to the middle as he throws blocks, trying to keep his truck out front. Not going to work this time. Matt Mills is going to come across the line. He is scored as the race leader. We're early, 7 laps down, only 13 remain in the stage. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Motor Racing Network. It is a Friday afternoon, Talladega Superspeedway, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in action and live right here on the Motor Racing Network. We're going to be 8 laps complete. Long way to go. 12 laps to go in stage number 2. Jeff Striegel alongside is Alex Hayden, and the 2023 Xfinity Series champion Cole Custer joining us here this afternoon. Dave Moody, Mike Bagley, Dan Hubbard are in the turns for us this afternoon, and on pit road you've got Steve Post, Jason Toy, and Dylan Welch. Grant Enfinger leading at the moment over Chase Purdy, Matt Mills, William Sawalich, and Jake Garcia. Going to have 10 down and 10 to go next time by. That will take us to the green and white checkered flag as we're working now mid stages of stage 1. Grant Enfinger is out front from Talladega Superspeedway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. $11 down, 9 to go. Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. They go down the back straightaway, side by side, front to tail. We'll get you back on track in a moment. First, though, to pit road. Johnny Sauter is there, and Steve Post can explain why.
Yeah, Johnny Sauter actually just taken off now. Jeff just left down here, and they had some of the brackets, at least one of the brackets that holds the spoiler on the back of the car up, came dislodged or was not hooked. Actually, watching one of the crew members talking to Richie Waters, it seems like it might have come unthreaded and looking at his hand signals, and so they had to come back in and make sure that that bracket on the back of the car, on the spoiler, on the truck of Johnny Sauter is properly affixed.
And the reason that's important, and the reason NASCAR put them on the pit lane under green conditions with the spoilers, they act as almost a big parachute on the back of these trucks. If one of those braces comes loose, just the smallest amount of that spoiler caving a bit could create less drag and potentially better speeds in the straight line. So NASCAR had no choice but to bring Johnny Sauter down pit lane to make the team fix that.
7 to go. Cole Custer, is it time now if you're running, let's just say Raja, Christian Eckes, Nick Sanchez, playoff drivers running outside of the top 10, when is it time to make a move?
It's crunch time. I mean, it's 8 to go. People are going to start pushing and shoving to try and get to the front. The problem for Raja, I think, is he's on the bottom, so he's a little bit trapped in and he can't really go anywhere. So it's going to be hard for him to get some stage points, but these guys are making me nervous. I mean, they're buffering back and forth. They're pushing and shoving. It's a ticking time bomb for sure.
Rajah Caruth is indeed on the bottom lane. He's 8th in line down there. Essentially all kinds of pinned up as the field exits turn 2, heads for the Alabama Gang super stretch.
And as Cole Custer mentioned, it is a ticking time bomb right now, and this could go off at a moment's notice. They're double wide for about the first 4 rows. Now they're 3 wide from 5th row, 6th row, 7th row back.
That was Ryan Reed, who stepped out of line trying to create something on that outside groove, not having much luck. In fact, he checks up a little bit and backs into Nick Sanchez. Meanwhile, up at the front, it is Grant Vinson, and still going side by side with Matt Mills.
Boy, up in the banking in 3 and 4, they were 3 wide, 5 deep. That sorted itself out now. 3 wide, 3 deep, but that's at the tail end of the field. Up front, side by side, you've got Matt Mills, Grant Enfinger, Jake Garcia, and William Sawalich.
Mills and Enfinger have played me and my shadow for most of this opening stage. Seldom, if ever, separated by more than a truck length. They continue nose to nose, inside and out.
Grant Enfinger leads the lane down low. He is up against the double yellow line at the bottom of the racetrack. You've got Matt Mills leading the outside line. They split the difference in the back straightaway, and they're about to catch Johnny Sauter's lap truck.
William Sawalich gives Enfinger just a little bit of help just before they enter into turn 3. So Enfinger now by himself, nobody at his right hip. Again, how long will that last? Side by side for second. Matt Mills, Sawalich, followed by Ty Majeski and Jake Garcia.
Now Grant Enfinger drifts up, puts the block on that outside lane, makes Matt Mills really check up just a bit. Enfinger, the master here at Talladega, doing a nice job.
Veteran campaigner, former winner here in his home state, the pride of Fairhope, Alabama. Grant Enfinger, bottom of the racetrack. He knows when to throw the block. He knows when to hold his cards and hold his line. He leads off turn 2.
Leaders work to the bottom of the racetrack around the lap car of Johnny Sauter, and they're still in double wide formation. This time up the Alabama Gang super stretch, the outside line with the advantage for a moment. But here comes Sawalich and company, shoving Enfinger back to the lead.
Each and every time down the straightaway, Matt Mills tries, but Sawalich just keeps bumping Grant Enfinger, and that shoves him into the top spot once again. So again, he rides by himself through turns 3 and 4 as the field is in hot pursuit off the corner.
4 to go in the stage, and lap after lap now, we see drivers outside of the top 10, outside of the top 15, beginning to pull away or back off this lead draft, Dave. We call it a ticking time bomb, but it's less trucks each pass.
Yeah, things get more aggressive toward the end. Trucks that are not in contention for stage points try to get themselves a little wiggle room, a little safety zone. Trouble breaks out at the front.
Matt Mills just surged to the lead, and instead of crossing over and jumping down in front of Grant Enfinger, he stays right in front of Jake Garcia in the outside. Matt Mills, Jake Garcia, 1 and 2 in 3.
Let's see how this shakes out through turns 3 and 4 as Mills does not take that lower lane. Grant Enfinger now has the momentum. He's gotten to the quarter panel of Matt Mills. Now he draws up alongside the door panel. Grant Enfinger with a push from William Sawalich off turn 4.
Down on the bottom of the racetrack, that lane begins to get momentum yet again. Matt Mills coming into today's race had only led a total of 6 laps in the Truck Series his entire career. Dave, right now he's led 10.
Trying to build some momentum for that full-time deal with that team next year, the Alnice Motorsports team. He is side by side with Enfinger yet again off turn 2 for the lead.
Towards the back of the pack, that 3 wide lane has been trying to get going the last 2 or 3 laps. They just can't get any customers to jump up there. We are still locked up in double wide formation. Matt Mills leads the outside lane. Grant Enfinger leads the lane down low.
Give credit to all these drivers. This has been pretty close quarter racing, and so far, well, no mishaps. They are really pushing the issue here through turns 3 and 4. This time Enfinger by himself in that top position.
So far, so good. Down to 2 to go in stage 1. William Sawalich running to the inside. Matt Mills to the outside. Grant Enfinger out front. Then you've got Ty Majeski and Jake Garcia. Connor Zilich also running at the front of the field as they head back to turn 1.
There's plenty of room upstairs in that extreme 3-wide line. For the moment, nobody able to make it work. They've all dropped back into 2x2 formation. They're chasing Grant Enfinger.
Now Enfinger will burst free, and he'll play as the pace truck right now. He was splitting the difference of both lanes. Now he'll slide down to the bottom lane of the racetrack. That gives Matt Mills the lane wide open topside. Mills now trying to inch up alongside the Enfinger truck.
He's almost there. He almost got to the tailgate. To his left elbow, we're talking about Matt Mills, is William Sawalich occupying that bottom lane. Here comes Grant Enfinger off of turn 4. He's got the top spot. It is Mills. It is Sawalich. It is Ty Majeski.
Now the pits will officially close with 2 laps to go in the stage. However, Nick Sanchez and Bailey Curry came to pit lane. Sanchez already gone. Curry having all kinds of mechanical problems. They back his truck back to his pit. We begin the final lap of stage number 1.
And it's anybody's ball game for the 10 stage points at the end of this one. Grant Enfinger on the bottom. Matt Mills down low. Everybody content to stay double file for now.
Side by side off turn number 2 in this final lap of stage 1. Enfinger leads the lane down low, and here comes Matt Mills. Gets a huge shove from Jake Garcia. He'll jump to the lead, but here comes the inside lane.
I'm sure Enfinger was hoping for some help from William Sawalich. I'm not sure he got it. It is Matt Mills blocking Grant Enfinger. Matt Mills is your leader all the way around turns 3 and 4. Enfinger right behind him in second with William Sawalich towing in tow.
Racing back now through the tri-oval. Green and white checkered flag in the air. Matt Mills has never won a stage ever at any level, but he's going to win one right here, right now at the Talladega Super Speedway. Matt Mills across the line and scoring the stage 1 win over Grant Enfinger. Jake Garcia, Connor Zilich, and William Sawalich. That is your top 5 at the line. Dean Thompson, 6th. Ty Majeski, 7th. Lawless Allen, 8th. Taylor Gray, 9th. And Tanner Gray, 10th. Stage 1 done. Picking up the green and white checkered flag is Matt Mills. $166 career starts at the Truck, Xfinity, and Cup level combined for Matt Mills, and he has just scored his first career stage win, and he's already led more laps in this event than he has combined in his career. Pit road will open up shortly. Stage 1 done from Talladega Superspeedway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Yellow lights on all the way around his 2.66-mile Talladega Superspeedway. Stage 1 is done. Hey, as a reminder, and I know you know this, thousands of people remain affected by Hurricane Helene, and they still need help, and they need it right now. Your donation enables the Red Cross to prepare for, respond to, and help people recover from this disaster. Visit redcross.org, or you can call 800-RED-CROSS. That's 800-733-2767 to make a financial donation or to schedule a blood donation appointment. Individuals can also text the word Helene to 90999 to make a donation. Make one right now and make a difference.
Yeah, everybody needs our help right now. Right now, a driver that needs some help out on the racetrack is William Sawalich, our pole sitter. He pulled down below the double yellow line here at the start-finish line and really slowed down drastically. He was 8th in the running order. And, Dave, I'm not so sure if he's gotten the truck refired or not.
The truck appears to be running. It sounds like it's running, Alex, but he has dropped all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack. He is below the double yellow line down on the apron. And I don't know if there might be a little wisp of smoke coming out from behind that truck, Mike Bagley.
All right, Jason Toy has got this story on William Sawalich. Jason, what is it?
Just checked in with his team owner and David Gilliland. Said there's something electrical going on. They tried to power down to save a little bit, wouldn't come back up. So they're concerned about the electronics inside that Toyota Tundra.
A tough break right now for pole winner William Sawalich, but at the moment still on the lead lap. Cole Custer joining us here. Cole, stage number 1 was thrilling. You were talking to us before we went on the air talking about you've never been to this side of Talladega, this high up at Talladega Superspeedway. Your initial impressions from what you were seeing in the opening 20 laps?
Well, yeah, I've never watched a race from the stands here, so it's pretty awesome. You can see the whole track here at Talladega. It really is great for the fans, but I think you see a lot of guys that are buffering around. William Sawalich was one of them at the very end of that stage. He was all jacked up sideways on the backstretch. So these bumpers, they just don't line up, and it's just a ticking time bomb for somebody to hit somebody wrong, and it causes a huge wreck. So we'll see if these guys can squeak through another stage clean and hopefully get to the end of this race.
We always talk about racing on the razor's edge, the ragged edge, and the difference between having a perfect line and a perfect run to disaster and you're in the fence. How does Talladega compare to other racetracks?
Extreme. This is the most extreme you can get from chaos and just not knowing what to expect, really. So anything can happen from one inch of a mistake can cost you your whole day. So it's a place every driver, especially a playoff driver, really dreads to go in here when you're not in control of your own destiny in a lot of ways. So we'll see if these guys can keep it clean.
For your vantage point, first time being on this side of Talladega Superspeedway, you get a grasp, I'm assuming, of just how skilled drivers like yourself are to race here, but also there's a little bit of craziness, and these guys got a little bit nuts out there, some of the moves that they're making.
It makes me wonder how we do it. It really puts a new perspective on it, really, for sure. So when you're out there, it feels like things are fairly in control. You see a couple guys a little squirrely, but when you're watching it from up here, it's like, wow, how do we not wreck every lap?
And we're going to see him on pit road so everybody can take a breath, at least for the moment. Matt Mills scoring the Stage 1 win. Matt Mills also turning the fastest lap here at Talladega, presented by Blue Green Vacations. Matt went 188.004. Pole speed by William Sawalich, 175. In the draft, they are flat getting around this racetrack. Blue Green Vacations, the official vacation ownership provider of NASCAR, invites you to believe in the power of vacation. With Blue Green, you can create a lifetime of memories at our collection of unique, locally inspired resorts and enjoy exclusive access to VIP NASCAR experiences. Start your vacation journey today at bluegreenvacations.com.
Pit lane is open. Dylan Welch.
Matt Mills is the first stall in on pit road. Said his truck is good. Only complaint, my feet are getting really hot in the cockpit. Right side tires and fuel for him. Fuel for Grant Infinite. finger and a wedge adjustment. Right side tires and fuel for Corey Heim, who said his truck is comfy. Steve Post.
Lane Riggs is in. Lane Riggs is in. Going to be fuel only for Riggs. He's very happy with the truck. Very well balanced. Grant Enfinger wins the race off pit road. There goes Ty Majeski and Jake Garcia. Lawless Allen and Connor Zilic goes out. Zilic just on a learning experience. Been interesting to listen to his crew chief and his spotter. Keep him out of trouble. Very solid top 10 run here in stage number 1. Jason Toy.
Well, down there on this end, Christian Eck is running towards the back of the pack. They made a call. They went fuel only, chassis wrenches in both sides to try to get a little bit better handling of a Chevrolet for him. Also then on this end of pit road, Tyler Ankrum, Taylor Gray, Rajah Caruth, all down on this end taking fuel, some taking 2 tires. William Sawalage continues to sit here. One crew member has both legs sticking out the passenger side window, trying to do what they can with that electrical system inside the cab of that Tundra. Our pole sitter still sitting here on pit road.
Matt Mills came in at the top of the leaderboard. Unfortunately, Matt Mills does not exit pit lane in the top 10. We'll reset the running order for you in just a moment. From Talladega Superspeedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Back here at Talladega Superspeedway, working our first caution of the race, stage number 1 in the books, which was won by Matt Mills. But Dylan Welch, Matt Mills is no longer inside the top 10. What happened?
Well, they had a little bit of an issue on their pit stop. Looked like the right front had a hiccup just getting that new tire on, which caused him to drop quite a few spots, as you mentioned, Alex. The one good thing that I think is always worth noting here at these super speedways is the spotters that these drivers have. And Matt Mills has TJ Majors on the roof, who was certainly a big impact on that stage win, just helping Matt understand the side draft, understand the movement of the lanes. TJ, of course, has spotted Dale Earnhardt Jr. and many other drivers to success at these types of racetracks. So that's a big advantage for him to have a veteran voice like that guiding him as he still learns his way around at the front of the field in these NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series races.
Cole Custer, how big is a spotter at the Talladega Superspeedway?
It's huge. I mean, just from the standpoint of they can see the whole pack and you can't. So they can really tell you which line's working, which line's not, where to block. And one thing that's really tough about these trucks is they're so big and they're so boxy. When you're behind somebody in the draft, you can't see where you're going. So that spotter is huge to tell you if the line's stacking up and what you have around you.
Now, just before the stage 1 came to an end, 2 laps prior to be exact, before the pit lane closed, Jason Toy, we saw Nick Sanchez pull off the racetrack.
Yeah, we did, and he came down and took on fuel and made a chassis adjustment for him. What they wanted to do was flip the stage, meaning they wanted to get that clean air up out front. So when everybody else came down after 2 to go, or before 2 to go, he was able to come in, get the stop, and put himself out front. So he's 8 to the good coming into today. When it comes to points here in this next round of the playoffs, they're trying to capitalize and get that automatic ticket to go to Phoenix and try to keep their way and keep their driver up towards the front.
A win here this afternoon, if you're a playoff driver, it means you're going to race for a championship when we get to November and wrap it all up at Phoenix. And the Miami, Florida driver, Nick Sanchez, will be the driver starting inside row 1, with Grant Enfinger alongside row 2. Ty Majeski and Jake Garcia is right there as we get ready to put them back under the green flag. And it's going to be a short stage number 2, scheduled for 20 laps. But by the time you add in the caution laps and the pit stops, Alex, we're down to 13 to go.
Yeah, we are. So that means you got to get after it. The field is coming to the Geico Restart Zone. It is presented by Geico. Is your insurance playbook lacking? Switch to Geico and get all your insurance coverage from one place. Go to geico.com today to get started.
Nick Sanchez, Grant Enfinger, Ty Majeski, and Jake Garcia, front 4. Connor Zilich and Lawless Allen, row 3. Christian Eckes and Dean Thompson, row 4. Rajah Caruth and Taylor Gray, row 5. Then you get back to Tyler Ankrum and Corey Heim. Again, there'll be 13 laps remaining in stage number 2. William Sawalich still sitting on pit road. William was the driver that led the field to the green flag 27 laps ago.
All the playoff drivers currently sit amongst the top 12 as the pace truck hits the pit lane. Rich Keeter on top of the flag stand has green flag in hand as the field hits the Geico Restart Zone, and this one is back underway. Outside lane has Nick Sanchez at the front of the field. He has got a tailgate full of Ty Majeski.
That'll shove him out into about a truck length lead over Grant Enfinger, who's got the bottom of the racetrack. Enfinger looking to pick up a little bit of drafting help from Jake Garcia. He'll get a little bit, but not enough. It's going to be Sanchez by half a truck length.
Nick Sanchez looked like he wanted to make the move to the bottom of the racetrack, but Grant Enfinger was right there. Seems like more trucks lined up in the outside than the inside. However, Grant Enfinger doing a great job keeping pace with Sanchez for the lead.
What's impressive about Grant Enfinger is that he got alongside the leader, Nick Sanchez, and he did it without help. Here they come into turns 3 and 4. It is Enfinger and Sanchez side by side for the top spot. Right behind them, Ty Majeski and Jake Garcia.
They come pouring back off of turn number 4, back through the tri-oval. Long way to get back to the start-finish line. Now you've got a side-by-side run. Grant Enfinger and Nick Sanchez coming across the line side by side for the lead. Let's get more on William Sanchez, William Sawalich. He's still sitting on pit road.
Yeah, the electrical issue still going on for William Sawalich. Also one of our playoff contenders, and Taylor Gray made a stop down here just past the green flag, had a left front cut, matter of fact about a quarter of an inch right in the middle of the tread, and he was losing air on that one. Good thing he brought it in when he did.
Absolutely. And with that, however, he's fallen all the way to 8th on the playoff grid, 58 points behind, but a long way to go here at Talladega Superspeedway. The lead draft now exits turn number 4, making their way, Jeff, back to the tri-oval.
Nick Sanchez on the outside, Grant Enfinger on the inside. Jake Garcia to the inside, right behind Enfinger. Ty Majeski right there behind Nick Sanchez. For the moment, everybody going 2 by 2 by 2.
I'm not sure that Grant Enfinger's been any further back than second place in this entire race. For the first time this afternoon, a bit of an effort being made in that third groove, back around 15th place. It's being led by Stuart Friesen.
They're trying to get the drafting help corralled, and they're having some success in doing so, but they're only up to mid-pack. Everybody else double wide in front of them, double wide behind them, and double wide for the lead.
Stuart Friesen continues that effort on that outside lane up against the wall. He's got Ryan Reed behind him, but he is just stuck in mid-pack. Here's that fight for the lead. It is still Grant Enfinger down low with Nick Sanchez up high, right at his right elbow.
A couple of black and yellow painted trucks at the front of the field go nose to nose back to the tri-oval. Inside lane is Grant Enfinger. Nick Sanchez stacks it up topside. They play bump drafting hard, racing back to turn number 1.
Can't lock bumpers, but you can do a good deal of pushing as long as you let go every few yards. Outside lane, third lane high, still trapped back about mid-pack. It's Grant Enfinger on the point.
And that third lane is 6 trucks deep, while up front, Enfinger surges to the lead. He was in the inside, takes a dip to the outside, brings that Chevy Silverado back to the bottom of the racetrack with sole possession of the point.
Now maybe Grant Enfinger can take a brief breath of relief. He's got a lead of about a car length over Jake Garcia. Garcia is dealing with Nick Sanchez to his right elbow. Behind him is Ty Majeski and Wallace Allen, and Stuart Friesen continues to gain momentum in that third lane.
Well, he's now inside the top 10, talking about Stuart Friesen. He's got a half a dozen trucks lined up right behind him, side by side at the front of the field. Grant Enfinger and Nick Sanchez. Cole Custer, you can't come from 30th to the lead in a blink of an eye at Kansas. How comfortable are you, confident are you that you can come mid-pack and drive your way to the front here at Talladega?
Well, it looks like in this Truck Series race, it is really hard to make moves. It's a really big track position race. You saw that with Nick Sanchez short pitting the stage and getting the lead. So these guys, it's all about track position. It's hard to make that third lane work. To make it work, they're having to push really hard, and it's going to be really hard to really make big moves from the back of the pack.
8 laps to go in the Love's RV Stop 225 at Talladega Superspeedway. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in action, and leading the field back across the line will be Grant Enfinger. Right behind him is Jake Garcia. Behind that, they continue to race 2 and 3 wide. Nick Sanchez, Lawless Allen, Alex, Ty Majeski making up the top 5. Then it's Dean Thompson, Connor Zilich, Stuart Friesen now up to 8th. Christian Eckes and Corey Heim make up the top 10.
We want to
Stuart Friesen took the 3-line lane all the way to the front of the field. It looked like he was going to go 3 wide for the lead. Ty Majeski crossed over, slid up across the nose of Friesen, and they've disappeared. They have gone all the way to the tail end of the field. At the front of the field, it's Sanchez, Grant Enfinger. 4.5 to go. Mike Bagley, they're headed your way.
And Sanchez leads the outside line for a moment, but here comes Grant Enfinger storming his way back to the inside.
I'm working that inside lane, trying to get to the tail tailgate of Nick Sanchez, make that the quarter panel, the door panel, and now Enfinger's got a nose out in front. Jake Garcia right behind him. We've also got Connor Zillich now riding in the 4th position.
Good hard racing as they come down to the line. There will be 4 laps to go here in stage number 2. Neither driver at the front of the field's really been able to get too much of an advantage yet again. Jake Garcia gives a big shove to Grant Enfinger.
It's been 2 by 2 inches apart since the green flag went in the air. It remains that way now as we count down to the tail end of the 2nd stage. Front of the pack, Garcia by a bumper over Enfinger.
And they remain in double wide formation, but these trucks are starting to dance around a lot on the Alabama Gang Super Stretch. Right now, it's all Zane Smith, make that Nick Sanchez and Connor Zillich. They are 1 and 2 topside.
I agree with you, Michael. The shoving and the shuffling has starting to intensify mid-pack on back, but up at the front, here is Nick Sanchez all by himself. He goes down the lower lane momentarily, putting the block on Grant Enfinger.
Boy, you don't want to get too far out in front. Nick Sanchez was starting to inch away from the field. The draft will catch you and blow you away. Here comes Enfinger back to the inside, and Grant's going to lead here as we're down to just a handful of laps remaining in stage number 2.
Enfinger makes a run at that inside lane as they hit the banking in turns 1 and 2. They may pull up far enough to put a lap on the Taylor Gray machine. Gray just trying to get to the bottom and get out of harm's way.
Taylor Gray is at the bottom of the racetrack, halfway down the backstretch, and here comes the entire pack. Now Gray is going to drift up right in the middle, and the leaders are going to have to split in 3 wide.
They do that. Taylor Gray is right in that middle groove, and they're passing him high and passing him low. So far, so good. Nick Sanchez takes the opportunity to take away the lead from Grant Enfinger. It is Sanchez out front by himself, with Enfinger getting a push from Jake Garcia.
And now that Gray is in the middle of this lead pack, so is Johnny Sauter. Oh, trouble right here in the tri-oval. Nick Sanchez goes for a spin. He's going to be collected by Connor Zillich. Other trucks slam on the brakes. Ben Rhodes will get hit in the tailgate and shoved to the outside wall with 2 laps to go in the stage. Jeff, we're under caution for the 2nd time.
Chase Purdy also involved. You had it. It was Nick Sanchez at the front of the field. It looked like Cole. I know we'll want to go back and take a look at the NASCAR TV replay, but it looked like it might have been a bump draft gone wrong through the tri-oval.
And that tri-oval, it'll get you every single time you try and bump draft through there. It's really uneasy for the trucks to go through there, and one little tap can send them the wrong way. But what a turn, because Grant Enfinger looks like he's going to win this stage and get huge stage points, and Nick Sanchez isn't going to get any.
That is monumental. Enfinger finished stage 1 in the 2nd spot. All he has to do is maintain pace truck speed for the next lap and a half to get to the green and white checkered flag, and he will win stage number 2. Grant Enfinger came into today's race, Jeff, on the outside looking in as far as the points go. He was 11 down at the drop of the green flag. Finishing 2nd in stage 1, helped his cause, and now in position to point his way to the good side of the line.
Other side of the equation, Nick Sanchez came in 8 up. He's already 18 down, and he's going to lose more before this is all said and done. Under the caution, we now have 1 to go in the stage. Grant Enfinger, Jake Garcia, Christian Eckes, Lawless Allen, and Dean Thompson. Big moment on the Alabama Gang Super Stretch when Mr. Gray, Mike Bagley, decided to slide up in front of the lead pack, and they had to split them.
Oh, that was a hold your breath moment right there. He was at the bottom, and then just about the time the pack reached him, he just drifted up into the middle lane, and the leaders were forced to take him 3 wide. I believe his strategy was to try to stay as close to the front of that pack as possible, but everybody was put on pins and needles right there, just trying to make their way around him at that very precarious position.
And Taylor Gray got credit for the free pass. Johnny Sauter and he were racing in the lead draft to be the beneficiary of the free pass. Johnny Sauter got swept up and got some damage in the crash, so Gray gets credit for the free pass. As a matter of fact, Jason Toy, Nick Sanchez is on the pit lane.
Yeah, they're surveying the damage here. Obviously, aero is huge at Talladega, so they're making sure all the wheel wells are clear, nothing's rubbing against the tires. Most of the damage is right to the driver's left heel, right behind that left front tire. They're trying to pull that bodywork back out. He says everything seems to be okay and going straight on the race car, but they definitely got some bodywork to work on here. Steve Post, I know you had a couple in front of you.
Yeah, Connor Zilich was down here. Johnny Sauter's down here, wounded race car. Connor Zilich is down here, and he found himself in a very awkward spot, and I want to bring Cole Custer in on this. Cole, he is not running for the championship. His teammate Nick Sanchez is. And of course, we talked about Connor. This is his first time here at Talladega. He got a big shove from behind. He did not want to get out of line to put Sanchez in the middle. Ultimately, he ran in the back of Sanchez and caused the crash. It was a real weird spot. And Cole, how tough is that to make a decision like that in a split second when you're closing so quickly on someone, let alone a teammate in the scenario like they had in the Spire Motorsports camp?
Well, the runs come extremely fast, especially in these trucks because they punch such a big hole in the air. And Connor Zilich there, he was trying to help Nick Sanchez, but at the end of the day, he hurt him a lot. So it's a really tough spot to be in because a lot of times that's your only option or you wreck. So you just try and help the guy in front of you and hope for the best.
Time to hand out the points. The green and white checkered flag is in the air. Stage 2 is done. Grant Enfinger scoring the win over Jake Garcia. The top 10 get points. Grant Enfinger, Jake Garcia, Christian Eckes, Lawless Allen, Dean Thompson, your top 5 across the line under caution.
Rajah Caruth will be 6th. 7th, Corey Heim. 8th is Tanner Gray. 9th, Tyler Ankerman. And 10th, Stephen Parsons. Pit road remains closed, so we'll step away and grab a quick break from Talladega Superspeedway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Closing in on the halfway point in the Love's RV Stop 225 here at Talladega Superspeedway. Stage racing has been wrapped up. Time now to go to the black and white checkered flag, which will be 44 laps away. So here is a look at the playoff movers and losers to this point, presented by Craftsman. Take advantage of special deals now at Ace Hardware. Visit craftsman.com.
Well, as they run at the moment with Grant Enfinger out front, if he can close the deal out here this afternoon in his home state, he knows he's going to be racing for a championship when we get to Phoenix. Corey Heim came in 38 up. He's 36 up right now. He's looking good at the moment. Christian Eckes up 34. And you get down to the cut line. That's where the action is. Ty Majeski right now up 4 on the cut line.
Yeah, and he came in with a 14-point cushion. Now, coming into the race was Nick Sanchez on the good side at +8. After all the troubles, Nick Sanchez now back 23 points out. And Grant Enfinger, boy, what a jump he's had. He's won stage 2. He finished second in stage number 1. He's already scored 19 points today to catapult himself inside the good side.
Well, Cole Custer, that's what you said at the top of the broadcast. Be aggressive, do what you have to do, earn all the points you can. Grant Enfinger is doing exactly that.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of these guys, especially in the playoffs, they just wanted to get through these first 2 stages unharmed, have a shot at this thing at the end. One guy that's in trouble is definitely Taylor Gray and Nick Sanchez, but a lot of those guys, they're going to have a shot at this thing at the end, but it's going to get crazy. We haven't seen a big wreck yet, but it's going to happen.
That was a confident Cole Custer with that all being said, as we're a lap away from the halfway point. Jeff, simply an appetizer, if you will, to what's to come here all weekend at Talladega.
Well, you're talking about the triple header that we have here, starting off with the Love's RV stop, 225 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. When we're done here, we'll come back tomorrow, 1:30 Eastern Time. Motor Racing Network live coverage of the NASCAR Cup Series will qualify and get ready for Sunday. When we're done qualifying, at 3:30 Eastern, the United Reynolds 250. Cole, you'll be in action in that. More on that with him in a moment. The NASCAR Xfinity Series, 3:30, United Reynolds 250, all leading up to the Yellowwood 500, the NASCAR Cup Series, 1 o'clock. Mike Bagley will host NASCAR Live Race Day and take us all the way up to the green flag. Looking ahead, Cole, to your opportunity to hit the racetrack tomorrow. Your thoughts as you get ready to tackle the Talladega Superspeedway?
Well, I think I'm going to say about what everybody said that was in the playoffs today. We just want to try and get through the first 2 stages, get some good stage points, try not to do anything too crazy to take ourselves out of the game, but we know we have to go and race. There's no way around that. You have to be aggressive at Talladega, and you have to make those big moves to stay up front. But at the end of the day, if we can be there at the end, still running, I think we'll have a good shot at trying to put ourselves in a good point situation.
It's interesting that you and every driver say all you got to do is be running. Doesn't mean you have to be on all 4 wheels. Doesn't mean you have to be pointed in the right direction. You just simply have to have some motion.
Kevin Harvick used to say, just keep the car rolling. As long as you keep the car rolling, you're going to be in a good spot probably.
They're rolling onto pit road right now. The race leader is in. That's Grant Enfinger, and Dylan Welch is there.
And he's been battling a free and traffic condition all day long. So the crew going to change right side tires, add this truck full of fuel, and monitor a little bit of that right side damage as well. Jake Garcia finished second in that stage. His truck was a little bit having an issue with bursting the bubble in traffic. They made that better with the chassis change, 4 tires and fuel for him. And Corey Heim, right sides and full of fuel for the E11 truck. Steve?
Stuart Friesen is in, brings his truck in. Going to be no tires, fuel only for Daniel Dye. Well, he goes out second because Rajah Caruth gets around him right at the stripe. Caruth, Dye, Lane Riggs, Dean Thompson, and Corey Heim, your front 5 off. Going to be 4 tires Sunoco Racing fuel for Ty Majeski. Toward the end of that stage, he got shuffled out. He's happy with his truck, but he lost track position. They figure put 4 good Goodyear tires on it. Topped it off with Sunoco Racing fuel as well, Jason.
Yeah, a couple of, matter of fact, 4 Racing Goodyear Eagles there put on the side of things there for Christian Eckes. He also took in 2 cans of Sunoco fuel, trying to pack as much as they can in there so they can limit their time on pit road coming up for that final time, and this could be that final time. So 4 tires for him, 4 tires further back for Tyler Ankrum. He got hung up behind one of the cars out here, one of the trucks out here on pit road, and Mason Maggio, so he was able to pull away. Taylor Gray, expected him to come back after getting the free pass on there, but the one guy that you talked about, Rajah Caruth, fuel only to get that track position out front.
So the top 5 off the pit lane that Steve Post gave you just a moment ago either did 2 Goodyear tires only or Sunoco fuel only. The first driver off the pit lane with 4 fresh Goodyear tires, 6th place, Christian Eckes. From Talladega Superspeedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Welcome back, Talladega Super Speedway, as we get set to hopefully get the one-to-go signal this time by. You know, obviously thousands and thousands of people affected by Hurricane Helene, and the aftermath has continued to be just a challenge for so many folks. I couldn't be any more proud of everybody in the NASCAR community for stepping up to help in every way they can, and you can help as well. As a matter of fact, Darlington Raceway is going to plan to do Track Laps for Charity event. That'll be coming up on the 10th of October. All proceeds will support aid for affected families of the hurricane. Martinsville Speedway hosting a water drive at the racetrack on Friday afternoon. That's going on right now as we speak. Of course, Talladega Super Speedway here all weekend long collecting donations at the racetrack. And NASCAR's Daytona, Charlotte, Concord, Darlington, Richmond locations will soon launch an employee food and supply drives within all the offices, with a lot more information to come on that. The Charlotte Motor Speedway hosting an all-day food supply donation drive. Everybody in the NASCAR community, some way, form, or fashion, including all of us here at the Motor Racing Network, stepping up to do all we can to help.
Tracks, individuals, race teams, and organizations, so many in the NASCAR family doing, like you said, Alex, every possible thing they can do to help. And you can too, and it's simple. You can go to redcross.org, or you can call 800-RED CROSS. That's 800-733-2767 to make a financial donation or to schedule a blood donation appointment. We'll make it even easier. You can text 90999 to make a donation. Do it right now on behalf of your favorite driver and help somebody out in need.
Yeah, people need your help, and they need it desperately right now. The field is coming to the Geico Restart Zone, presented by Geico. Is your insurance playbook lacking? Switch to Geico and get all your insurance coverage from one place. Go to geico.com today to get started.
45 laps complete. Make it 46, and 39 remain when we put them under the green flag. Dan Hubbard, that's coming up next time by as the field makes their way up into the bank in front of you in turn 4.
This is going to be very interesting. The stars of the day so far have been Grant Enfinger. He is now ensconced in traffic about the 4th row. We saw Nick Sanchez running up at the front. He was involved in an accident. Now we've got some fresh faces up at the front. Rajah Caruth, Daniel Dye, Lane Riggs. We'll see how this all shakes out when the green flag drops.
Wisconsin native and former champion Johnny Sauter officially out of the race. The damage vehicle policy clock has expired on him. They could not get repairs made in time, so we'll have to run the final 40 laps without Johnny Sauter.
39 laps to go. The Love's RV stop 225 at Talladega Superspeedway, back under the green. You've got Daniel Dye to the outside, Rajah Caruth, Christian Eckes, Lane Riggs, Grant Enfinger. They're all coming up to speed.
The advantage goes to Daniel Dye thanks to a vicious push from Christian Eckes. Shoves Dye to the lead, dives to the bottom, trying to get under him. Dye slams the door off turn 2.
So it's Daniel Dye, Christian Eckes, Rajah Caruth. 1, 2, and 3 on the bottom of the racetrack, halfway down the back straightaway. That leaves the outside line with minimal drafting help, led by Grant Enfinger.
Grant Enfinger trying to get something started on that outside line. Right now, it's only good for third alongside Rajah Caruth. Here comes your leader, Daniel Dye, and again, right on his tailgate is Christian Eckes. Behind him is Rajah Caruth doing some pushing of his own.
They're right on the bottom side of the racetrack. That outside lane led by Grant Enfinger beginning to fade. He's got Stephen Parsons and Matt Mills stacked up on his back bumper. Right now, Dave, no better than about the 9th position.
We know he's got truck enough to lead this race. He just needs a little help on the back bumper. Help is on the way, but they are slow in coming. So at the moment, the lead will continue to belong to Daniel Dye.
The front 5 have broken away in single file formation. Grant Enfinger has fallen into a side-by-side battle for 6th. That drafting help in the outside, it is slow to come to life as that inside line is large and in charge right now.
Essentially, you've got a single file freight train working the bottom lane through turns 3 and 4. Again, it is Daniel Dye showing the way, maybe just half a truck length in front of Christian Eckes as the rumble comes from turns 3 and 4. Rajah Caruth in third with Lane Riggs in fourth.
Leading his first laps here to Talladega Superspeedway, the 20-year-old driver out of DeLand, Florida, Daniel Dye comes across the line. Then it's Christian Eckes, Rajah Caruth, Lane Riggs, Dean Thompson, top 5.
Grant Enfinger beginning to percolate in that outside lane. He's up into a side-by-side battle for 6th place with Corey Heim, but still the drafting help a little bit loose on the back bumper.
That is the first side-by-side battle inside of the top 10, and they stack up double wide behind them from 6th on back. Front 5 trucks are all nose to tail. Daniel Dye, Christian Eckes, Rajah Caruth, and here comes Enfinger to the outside.
Enfinger got a good run coming into turn 3. Again, he's working that middle groove through turns 3 and 4. Enfinger's got lots of help this time. He gets up to the 2nd spot. Does Enfinger? Christian Eckes cuts him off. Christian Eckes gets right in front of Enfinger.
Eckes no longer wants to push Daniel Dye. He wants to lead here at Talladega. He's on that 2nd lane. Enfinger stacked up in his tailgate. Inside, Daniel Dye getting a shove from Rajah Caruth.
Daniel Dye leads the way into turn number 1, but the challenge is coming up high. Rajah Caruth now comes steaming up on the outside. He leads by a bumper. Now Daniel Dye comes back at him. They are head-to-head off turn 2.
Side by side, Christian Eckes and Daniel Dye for the lead here at Talladega Superspeedway. Rajah now 2nd in line on the inside, while up top, Enfinger and Eckes get hooked up, racing for the lead.
Here they come, racing for the lead, 2 by 2 by 2. Eckes on that outside, give the advantage to Daniel Dye, however. He's got a nose out in front. He's got a door panel out front. Actually thought about getting in front of Eckes, now hugs it down low. Eckes with a good run with some help from behind from Grant Enfinger.
Last lap, 185 miles an hour, and they're racing inches apart at the front of the field. Daniel Dye to his outside, it's Eckes. Behind those two, it's Rajah Caruth and Grant Enfinger.
Hammer down and cracking the whip as they hit the banking in turn number 1. To the outside goes Christian Eckes. He'll break free into the open air. Will he cross over? Yes, he will. Back down to the bottom of the racetrack with the lead.
That leaves Grant Enfinger to lead the outside lane. Not so fast. Here's Eckes from the bottom. He'll jump topside, throw the block that is on Enfinger. That leaves Daniel Dye to lead the lane down low.
Here they come into turns 3 one more time. Dye is definitely dueling with Christian Eckes. That's for the top spot. Here comes Grant Enfinger, still trying to get something going in that middle lane, still trying to get to the tailgate of Eckes. It is Enfinger side by side with Rajah Caruth. Lane Riggs making some noise now from the 5th position.
34 laps to go. Cole Custer, reigning Xfinity Series champion, sitting up here in the booth with us. And Cole, you're keeping your eye on, the front of the draft, but also there's some movers now.
Well, it's the last stage, and they're pushing and shoving and blocking, and it's getting crazy. And a lot of these guys, some of these playoff guys, Taylor Ankrum in 19th, Ty Majeski in 22nd, Nick Sanchez 23rd, Taylor Gray 24th. They are in the danger zone. So one wrong move, they're going to be right in the thick of an accident.
And what Cole was talking about is 4 playoff drivers that are running 20th on back. Ankrum, Sanchez, Majeski, and Taylor Gray at the front of the field. Rajah has make that Christian Eckes has taken over as the race leader. Up in the banking, off the banking, back to the trial will they come, Alex Hayden.
You got to give credit to Grant Enfinger. The Alabama native was on that outside lane on that last restart, dropped way down the running order. Finally, by using the air and using his wit and will, he's been able, Dave, to work his way back up to the 2nd spot. lot.
He's done a really nice job, and you're exactly right. He's had a really good race truck to help him. Right now, he follows in the tire tracks of Christian Eckes. Top 5, top 6 now, lined up nose to tail.
Our side-by-side battle now is for 7th. Stephen Parsons will lead that outside line. He's up against Corey Heim midway down the back straightaway. Everybody else on the bottom in lockstep formation behind race leader Christian Eckes.
Stephen Parsons, who spent most of the race outside the top 10, is trying to generate some momentum around that outside lane. Nothing doing. He does draw up alongside Corey Heim. They're side by side, but this race is still being led by Christian Eckes.
Top 6 single file. The pit window is open, and here comes a half a dozen or more trucks off the banking, off the racetrack, making pit stops in front of Dylan Welch.
And Corey Heim is the lone truck at the pit entry end of pit road. Just a couple seconds of fuel is all they need, Posty. Heim is down and away.
3 seconds of fuel is what Lane Riggs is looking for. Has the love colors on the car. 1001, 1002, 1003. Down he goes. Lane Riggs is down and away. Getting his pit service here. We've got Tanner Gray, Dean Thompson is in, and Jason Moore in front of you.
On down here, Taylor Gray was in. William Sawalich is in. He's down a bunch of laps. Why does he stop? He's a fellow Toyota Tundra driver out there. He's trying to help those guys, especially Taylor Gray, his teammate, to work his way towards the front.
Now the lead draft funnels off turn number 4. 13 trucks. All single file, nose to tailgate. Nobody peels off the racetrack in that lead draft this time by. We have a speeding penalty to be handed out. William Sawalich busted for speeding, so the youngster having a rough go of it here today, Jeff.
Right now it's Christian Eckes, Grant Enfinger, Daniel Dye, Raja Caruth, Stephen Parsons top 5. Matt Mills, who won stage 1, has rallied back to 6. Jake Garcia, Lawless Allen, Caden Honeycutt, and Nick Sanchez. That is your top 10. Mike Bagley weigh in on this in a moment. It's gonna get chaotic. It's not at the moment, but sooner or later they're going to go back to 2 and 3 wide racing and following that draft.
Well, they've thinned the herd right now because we're in the middle of green flag pit stops. But once everybody comes to pit road, does the work they need to do, we'll be packed up again, especially the closer we get to the flying of the black and white checkered flag.
Now, Cole Custer, looking at these trucks that just made pit stops, so much has to take place on the racetrack under green, but on pit stops, you can really put yourself in a bad spot, kind of like Ty Majeski.
Oh, Majeski, he's hanging on by a thread right now by the draft of his pack that pitted. He's probably 20, 30 car lengths behind the draft, and if he loses that draft, it's going to be big for his points day.
Boy, it would appear as though he is about to lose that draft as he falls further and further behind the trucks that pitted just a moment ago. 29 laps remain. Eckes out front. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Motor Racing Network. .29 laps to go in the Loves RV Stop 225 at Talladega Superspeedway for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series with Christian Eckes right now running out front. My name is Jeff Striegel. Alongside is Alex Hayden as always, and the 2023 Xfinity Series champion Cole Custer. In the turns this afternoon, Dave Moody, Mike Bagley, and Dan Hubbard up and down pit road, watching it all unfold. Steve Post, Jason Toy, and Dylan Welch.
So the rest of the lead draft trucks still need to make one more pit stop. They make their way from the bottom of turn number 4 back to the short straightaway. We'll see if anybody, yeah, here they go. Everybody now begins to roll off the throttle, standing on the brakes. One truck is going to miss the entrance to pit road. I believe that was Christian Eckes. No, it was not. Eckes was able to get his truck to the pit lane. It was Daniel Dye that missed the entrance to pit road. Dylan Welch.
Grant Enfinger is in. 4 seconds of fuel is all they needed. He turned across the nose of Caden Honeycutt, the third stall in, and nearly got spun. Raja Caruth locked up the brakes as well on pit entry, Steve.
Matt Crafton brings his truck in. Here's Connor Zilich again. They need about 3 seconds of fuel is all they need on this pit stop. Johnny Sauter is in. Cody Roper is in, and more.
Trouble in turn number 2. Up and into the outside wall goes Chase Purdy. He slides down in front of a couple of the trucks exiting pit road, limping now down on the apron on the back straightaway with damage on the right side.
We stay under the green flag. We watch that truck moving down the Alabama game super stretch. Heavy damage, but well below the double yellow line. And we stay under the green flag. Pit stops were underway. Obviously a big blow to Daniel Dye as he came off of turn number 4 on the brakes, downshifting, trying to get the truck slowed down and missing the entrance to pit road.
It is. So, Cole Custer, how challenging is that as a driver running right on the tailgate of the competition and everybody has to stand on the brakes to get it woed down to 55 miles per hour?
It can go wrong quick because you're going about 200 miles an hour. You got to go down to 55. So for Raja Karuth there, the last thing you want to do is slide a tire and lock a tire up. That's exactly what he did. And Daniel Dye missing pit road. So Karoth, he got a speeding penalty, and he had to change left side tires, so he's in bad trouble right now.
Yeah, Raja right now running outside of the top 25. Bad is going to get worse. We'll see where Daniel Dye is able to blend back in. He made a stop. He's coming up to speed now. Alex, a number of drivers have yet to come to pit road. Jason White right now is being shown as the race leader on lap number 60. Dawson Sutton, Mason Maggio, Lawless Allen, Caden Honeycutt, the top 5, but they still need to visit pit road at some point.
Yeah, Lawless Allen has just elected to do just that, so he's going to get his service. The rest of those drivers you pointed out stay on the racetrack. Under green flag conditions, Dave Moody, it's not unusual to have a couple of different drafting lines, but eventually, if it cycles through, accordion's back together.
Yeah, the way things are right now, everybody's going to be hunkered down on that double yellow line. That's where the drafting help is. That's the shortest way around. But once the pack reforms, if you want to move forward, you're going to have to find a higher line.
Had a close call a moment ago. Jake Garcia, in an attempt to throw the block on Lane Riggs, almost found himself being spun to the inside of the racetrack. An aggressive block, and Lane Riggs had to practice great restraint to prevent from turning Jake Garcia.
All right, let's reset it for you. 25 to go. Make it 24. There are 3 drivers that have yet to come to pit road. They go 1, 2, 3 on the racetrack. Jason White, Sutton, Mason Maggio, top 3. Caden Honeycutt, I mentioned a moment ago, he also made a stop on lap 57. So Caden Honeycutt right now at the front of the big pack, but 25 seconds behind Jason White, who leads. Back under caution here at the Talladega Super Speedway from roughly 8th on back. They get together up in the banking of turn number 1. Dave Moody.
Lane Riggs and Jake Garcia had been racing very aggressively and exchanging a bit of sheet metal. They got hooked together down on the bottom midway between 1 and 2. Riggs took a hard right, hurtled up the banking, took 3 or 4 other trucks into the fence along with him. Riggs is torn up. Tyler Ankrum is torn up. Dean Thompson's truck is torn to pieces. Matt Mills got a huge piece of that as well. There may be a couple of others. Major pileup midway between 1 and 2.
William Sawalich got a big chunk of that. He's not looking like he's going to be able to drive away. Playoff competitor Tyler Ankrum also got some of that crash. Ankrum was already on the downside of the cut line for the playoffs. His day's about to go worse. We're down to 22 laps to go. From Talladega Superspeedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Back here at Talladega Superspeedway, a multi-truck crash over in turns 1 and 2 has benefited Jason White and Dawson Sutton and Mason Maggio, Jeff. 3 drivers that go 1, 2, and 3 on the leaderboard that have yet to make their final pit stop.
Yeah, this is huge for them. They can do it and do it all in slow motion. It'll more than likely be the 3 of them. We'll see. We may have other drivers coming to top off. Taylor Gray, I don't know if you had him involved in that. Taylor Gray also went for a slide in that crash up in turn 1 that included Tyler Ankrum, William Sawalich, Matt Mills, Jake Garcia, Connor Zilich, Dean Thompson, Lane Riggs, maybe another. And again, when you take a look at it as they came by our position headed to turn 1, we say it too often, bump draft gone wrong.
Yep, just a push gone wrong into turn 1. It looked like Stephen Parsons and Jake Garcia were trying to draft in there, but as they got into the corner, it got Jake Garcia turned sideways and caused a big melee. So definitely some trucks torn up, but it's going to get the field bunched back up here. Again, you know what they say, cautions breed cautions.
With 22 laps to go, when you've already run, say, 63 laps, Cole Custer, do you as a driver, can you get lured into a false sense of security on what your truck can be capable of doing?
I think these guys definitely got a little bit too overconfident. They've been clean for most of the race, but I think we're seeing again, I mean, these trucks, they don't line up good when you push each other, and it's just a ticking time bomb whether or not you're going to wreck.
Right now, the top 10 before pit road opens, and it won't be this lap, is Jason White, Dawson Sutton, Mason Maggio. They still need to come to pit road. Then you get back to the 4th place running and the rest of the drivers that have already pitted. Caden Honeycutt, Grant Enfinger, Nick Sanchez, Christian Eckes, Stephen Parsons 8th, Stuart Friesen 9th, and Taylor Gray is 10th.
Begs the question, though, those drivers, because this was not the lead draft. The front 3 had their own draft going. Again, this was from about 8th on back. Begs the question, standing on the brakes, did anybody flat spot their tires trying to avoid the crash and maybe forced to come to pit road when maybe they didn't necessarily want to or have to again?
Yeah, that's a good point. And, you know, obviously we can't see it from our vantage point. Dave can't see it from his. Talk about how that works. You know, inside the truck or the car, you're hard on the brakes. You know when you slide the tires. Talk about what happens, how you try to keep from doing that, and if you do slide the tires, what's the feeling like after that inside the car or truck?
If you flat spot a tire, the best way I can describe it is it feels like you have a square as a tire. It's just vibrating. It feels like it's not round. It's very rough. And when that happens, it'll affect the handling of the truck, but it'll also blow the tire out eventually because it is damaged. So you will have to fix it. And at the end of the day, you're just trying to miss the wreck. That's the first thing you got to do. You just got to slow down, and sometimes flat spot a tire is just part of it.
And with the caution coming out, you can sort of reset. And we all understand that the draft comes into play. You should be able to work your way back to the front of the field if your truck is relatively clean from this point, from all the laps that we've raced up until this point. As we sit right now, pit lane is going to open up this time. We expect the top 3 again, Jason White, Dawson Sutton, and Mason Maggio, to come to pit road.
You know, just thinking this, Alex, that on the east, in the Eastern time zone, Central time zone, people are getting out of work, getting ready for the weekend on a Friday afternoon, and if you're just twisting us in, welcome aboard. This is live coverage on the Motor Racing Network. Round 1, race 1 of the round of 8, and we're live at the Talladega Superspeedway for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Get ready for a great weekend of racing here. Those 3 drivers that Alex mentioned, Jason White, Dawson Sutton, Mason Maggio, are in. Dylan Welch.
As those drivers make their pit stops, looks like it's going to be at least right side tires. Steve, post a couple of those, including Dawson Sutton has made his way in front of you.
Yeah, Dawson Sutton has brought his truck down, doing a nice job here, staying out of trouble, keeping things at the front there. They're taking their time. There's not enough vehicles here on pit road to lose too many spots. Go around to the left side. Sunoco Fuel is plugged in. They're good to go. 2 pit boxes behind him. It is Roper is back there. Corey Roper getting his pit service as well. Jason Toy, how about in front of you?
Well, Mason Maggio, one of those guys in those 3 that hadn't stopped. They came in 4 tire Sunoco Fuel for him. Right behind him is Tyler Ankrum. He's one of our playoff guys. He was caught up in that accident. Heavy damage on the left front, right side, and the rear end of the truck. Sledgehammer going up inside that fender well on the left front to try to bang out the clearance so that Goodyear Racing Eagle can go back onto this truck.
Trying to salvage a day as a playoff driver is Tyler Ankrum. From Talladega Superspeedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Getting down to it here in the Love's RV Stop 225 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series playoff race here. And this event could send somebody, if they win it as a playoff driver, into Phoenix as part of the Championship 4. At this particular lap 66, here's how they line up.
And it's not a playoff driver that's out front here at Talladega Superspeedway. It's Caden Honeycutt, who is leading over 3 playoff drivers: Nick Sanchez, Grant Enfinger, and Christian Eckes. The rest of the top 5 include Stephen Parsons. 6 through 10, Stuart Friesen, Corey Heim, Taylor Gray, Matt Crafton, and Ty Majeski.
11th is Danny Bone. 12th is Ryan Reed. Lawless Allen is 13th, and Daniel Dye is 14th. Jason White, after leading and coming to pit lane, is now 15th. Corey Roper, 16th. Dawson Sutton is 17th. Mason Maggio is 18th. Clay Greenfield, 19th, and Spencer Boyd is 20th.
Tyler Ankrum, 21st. Keith McGee, 22nd. Rajah Caruth, 23rd, and Norm Benning right now running 24th in the last truck on the lead lap. Brett Holmes 1 lap down, 25th. Chase Purdy 26th. Lane Riggs, involved in the crash just moments ago, is 27th. And Jake Garcia, Tanner Gray, and Matt Mills. That's your top 30.
The rest of the field out of the race: Dean Thompson 31st, Connor Zilich 32nd, William Sawalich 33rd, Johnny Sauter 34th, Ben Rhodes 35th, and Bailey Curry 36th.
All right, Cole Custer, we're going to put you inside the truck of Ty Majeski, who sits in position number 10. You're 2 points above the cut line, so you're not comfortable there. I guess you got to balance how aggressive you are now. We're going to be 17 laps to go. Next time by, back under the green flag. You're in the driver's seat. You're with Ty. What are you trying to accomplish, and how soon are you trying to accomplish it?
I think we still got to be smart here. If it gets down to 2 to go and you have a shot to win this thing, yeah, by all means, be aggressive, try and win this thing, make the crazy move. But at the end of the day, we need to make it to the end of this thing and still give ourselves a shot at the next race. So it's going to be tough. I mean, these guys are going to be pushing and shoving. There's definitely another wreck that's going to be coming soon, and hopefully you're not a part of it.
With 18 laps to go, there'll be 17 to go when they take the green flag next time by. And the way these trucks draft, Cole, when is it too late to make those moves? Can you wait a little bit longer in the truck as opposed to an Xfinity car?
Well, you want track position, and you want to be towards the front whenever you can get it. So if you're mid-pack right now, you got to make the moves to go forward. But you'll see, I mean, these trucks can get such big runs. It'll come down to that last lap of which truck is going to win this race. But you got to get ahead of the game right now if you're mid-pack.
All right, let's go to the care center right now. Dylan Welch.
Matt Mills is the first to be released. Led some laps and ran up front today. How disappointing is this finish ultimately?
Yeah, I mean, the past 5 weeks, it's been pretty down moments, and come out here today with such a fast JF Electric Utility Chevrolet for Nice Motorsports says a lot about our race team. I thought we were going to get some good momentum here today, and leading laps, getting that stage win was pretty cool, and we'll just have to get ready for Homestead. I hate that we couldn't capitalize on the day, but you know, that wasn't on us, so we showed that we can go out there and do this.
Thanks, Matt. Getting ready to go back green, guys.
We are indeed, as Stephen Parsons, the 5th place truck, comes off the racetrack at apparent flat right front tire. Green flag goes in the air as they pass through the Geico restart zone and head to turn number 1.
Here comes Caden Honeycutt into turn number 1, bottom of the inside row. He will show the way thanks to a pretty healthy push from behind by Christian Eckes. Eckes pushing him for a long, long time, and it's really paying off.
2-truck breakaway in those two. Caden Honeycutt, Christian Eckes. Now they're quickly going to be gobbled up now as here comes the pack. Outside line now led by Eckes. Crossover move for him. Christian Eckes to the lead on the end of the backstretch.
Christian Eckes solidifies the top spot as he comes into turn 3. Right behind him is Nick Sanchez on a 2-truck breakaway still. They are side by side for that 3rd spot. Down on the low side, it is Caden Honeycutt. To his right elbow is Grant Enfinger as the field makes the way off turn 4.
And again, Grant Enfinger has been inside the top 5 all afternoon long. Right now he lines up right behind Christian Eckes. Out front, Nick Sanchez, Caden Honeycutt occupying that inside lane, back to 1.
Not much question that start to finish, at least to this point, Grant Enfinger has been consistently the fastest truck, but that doesn't always pay off here at Talladega. He's 3rd in the outside line, following Sanchez and Eckes.
Nick Sanchez, after being damaged in a crash earlier, to the top of the leaderboard, and he is leading the outside lane. He's got Eckes right behind him, Enfinger's there. Trucks begin to dance back and forth as they race to 3.
Nick Sanchez showing some pretty good speed in the lead. Christian Eckes filling his mirrors in that 2nd spot. Here comes Taylor Gray around the mid groove on that 2nd outside lane. He's got a bit of a charge going. He's trying to get to the tailgate of Grant Enfinger,
who just pulled up, and he saw that big head of steam coming from that 2nd line. Enfinger goes to the now point of the 2nd line. He'll pull even for 2nd with Christian Eckes. Meanwhile, blocking all lanes up front is Nick Sanchez.
Sanchez trying to hold them all off. He's going to have to make a decision. He's going to slide up across the nose of Grant Enfinger. Enfinger gives him a little kick in the tailgate, drops to the bottom, and a move that's immediately blocked by Sanchez.
Nick Sanchez throwing aggressively blocking, that is, coming out of turn number 2. Right now he'll stand pat on the inside, but here comes Enfinger. Enfinger. He'll change lanes. Flush to the outside. Enfinger now leads the top lane.
Here they come.
Oh, Sanchez gets turned onto the apron. He'll spin to the bottom of the racetrack in turn number 3 as everybody now will slide past him. Enfinger, or make that others collecting now in the middle of turns 3 and 4.
Boy, one truck being collected, a couple of trucks getting together. Dan Hubbard, you may have a better view of this than what we do. This happened after the caution flag came out, and it does so with 14 laps remaining. It started first with Nick Sanchez, but it didn't end there, Dan.
Mason Maggio also collected some of that. He's able to continue. We do have one truck in the inside of turn 4. I cannot get a number on it, but he has come to a rest. We're looking for the window net to come down. Safety teams are already on the scene.
While they tend to that driver, let's go to the Infield Care Center and Dylan Welch.
And Jake Garcia has also been released from the Infield Care Center. Looked like you just maybe got a bad push into turn 1. Is that what it felt like for you?
Yeah, definitely. You know, green flag pit stops like that, everyone's trying to blend out and up towards the front. And so I was leading the top lane there, it seemed like. And, you know, just a push gone wrong because the intensity level was so high. But just want to thank everybody, all my guys, Quanta Services, Duke and Honda Thorson. I want to thank God for keeping me safe out there, and just really fortunate to have this opportunity. But you know, I think we did a good job. I certainly learned a lot. This was like my first full super speedway race, so definitely learned a lot, and I'm excited to close the year out strong.
Yeah, he was fast today for sure. Bummer ending for Jake Garcia.
Right now they are scrambling in the champion container pit area for Daniel Dye, who also got a piece of that. We'll follow up there in a moment as we go back to the Care Center. Dylan?
Let's catch up with Connor Zilich, who was involved in that accident a couple yellows ago. So what was your take on what happened there? How'd you get collected in that?
Yeah, I don't know. It was all a blur, really. It all happened really fast, and I throttled up because I thought I was going to be clear high, and then I think the 13 and the 38 flew back up across the track, and big impact, but I'm all good, and, you know, hurt feelings, but I feel okay, so that's the most important thing.
What did you think of this super speedway deal?
Yeah, it was fun. I learned a lot. I mean, it's tough. These guys, they push hard and they're aggressive, and that's part of it. So it was good to get that experience in before I show up to Daytona next year in the Xfinity car. I'm just glad that I was able to get this race in and kind of experience it all before next year.
Connor Zilich done for the day, but out of the Infield Care Center.
That's great news for Connor Zilich and his fans, as Nick Sanchez, for the second time today, spins while running inside the top 2 positions. This time got a little bit more on the damage side of things, trying to make the most out of his day. He currently is now 8th of 8th on the playoff standings, 19 points out. From Talladega Super Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
This is Corey Heim. The race to the championship is on. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series playoffs are only on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Now back to the race.
11 laps to go here at Talladega. Next time by as the field continues to work behind the pace truck driven by Eric Johnson. It's been a little bit wild. Cole Custer has said perfectly that there was going to be another caution flag. I'm not so sure there might not be another one still to go.
We'll poll him in a minute. I think you're probably right with your thought process. Daniel Dye was on pit road just a moment ago. Postman looked like left side damage there.
Yeah, left side damage for Daniel Dye. They've got the signboard out. They really wanted to get a good look at it. Blake Bainbridge is the crew chief on that car, or that truck, and they wanted to get a good look at it. They did a little bit of repair, but they're going to bring Daniel down again and now there another time to work on that a little bit more. Predominantly, as you say, Jeff, on the left side.
So while they continue to work behind the pace truck, they can't what we call pull up to pit. Dan Hubbard, I see a lot of safety vehicles out there and a lot of cleanup in turn 4.
Yeah, it's going to be just a little bit. They are putting the speedy dry from the middle of turns 3 and 4 all the way, well, not quite all the way to turn 4, but they have put quite a stripe of speedy dry trying to clean up some of the fluid, some of the oil that got onto the track due to this incident. So, yeah, it's going to be a few moments before we get this one cleaned up.
11 to go when they come across the start-finish line. That will happen under caution, and it will happen in a moment. Grant Enfinger, who won Stage 2, finished second in Stage 1, who is leading at the moment, trying to win again here at the Talladega Superspeedway. Oh, that would be big for him and that team as they would move on to Phoenix and race for a championship if he can close it out. Taylor Gray's in that position as well. He's a playoff driver. He is running in position number 2. Back to the Care Center.
Lane Riggs has been released from the infield care center from the big wreck a couple cautions ago in turn 1. So looked like you were just sort of a victim of circumstance there, but how would you evaluate the day you guys had and the position you were in ultimately?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun today. My first really speedway race ever and really enjoyed it. Learned a lot. It was really just interesting how it all works out. But yeah, I think we had a really good strategy. We short pitted it a little bit over the main pack, and I think me and a lot of Toyotas lined up together, and I was able to lead the pack, so that was pretty cool. Got to really run a little bit everywhere in the field today, and felt good out there, and we were working our way up there, and I don't know what happened above me, but I just got right here hooked in the wall. So definitely the hardest hit of my life. It didn't feel good, but good thing that NASCAR has a good safety team and they keep me safe. So yeah, just super thankful to Love's Travel Stops for sponsoring the race and our truck today, Infinity Communications for all they do. A lot of disaster relief, especially with the hurricanes right now. So it's yeah, I mean, I'll take it. I learned a lot today, and that's speedway racing. We all know it.
Yeah, glad you're okay. He's got grass and dirt and everything all over his fire suit from a trip through the grass after that spin. So certainly good to see Lane Riggs walking around here.
Yeah, it is, and he got some valuable experience back in the season opener at Daytona, his only other super speedway race. He only got to run 6 laps before he was swept up in a crash. So he got the opportunity here, this one, to go 61 laps before they got swept up in another crash.
So the top 2, Grant Enfinger and Taylor Gray. Let's get back and talk about the driver running in position number 3. His name is Ryan Reed, 31-year-old out of Bakersfield, California. And you might be going, you know what, I remember Ryan Reed. Well, you should, because he ran 172 NASCAR Xfinity Series races, winning twice. And now he's back racing with us here this afternoon.
Yeah, those 2 wins in the Xfinity Series came down at Daytona International Speedway. So those weren't chump wins by any stretch of the imagination, making just his 6th start in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And Dylan Welch, the first start for Ryan Reed since 2021.
Well, and I just go back to what he said about his race truck very early on in this race. He said, guys, this thing is a missile. I just need some more security. That's what he was asking for early in this race. And I think they've given that to him because he's been able to work his way through this field and now has himself in a great spot to go after a win here. So great opportunity for this McAnally-Hilgeman group to get a guy who knows how to win at these types of races behind the wheel of their truck to do some R&D on their end as well. And great chance for Ryan, too, just to prove that he still has what it takes.
And making only his 6th start at the Truck Series level, Ryan Reed ready to go, ready to close it out. Can he score a top 5 finish or better? We're going to have 10 laps to go to settle it as we will go back under the green flag in 2.66 miles. Enfinger, Taylor Gray, Ryan Reed. Christian Eckes. And let's stop at position number 5 in Lawless Allen, who is having a wonderful afternoon. And like so many others, when you get to this point, you just want to close it out. You don't want to be involved in somebody else's mistake. You know you've got a good run going. You've had a good afternoon. Let's just finish it.
You mentioned Lawless Allen, Jeff. His career best finish is 10th, and it came in this race 1 year ago. So he's trying to better that. And heck, who knows, maybe with a little bit of luck can potentially find his way to victory lane. It would not be uncommon at all, because here at Talladega Super Speedway, a driver earned their first career Truck Series win in 4 of the last 5 Talladega races.
You got Clay Greenfield running in position number 10. You have Corey Roper, the 47-year-old driver out of Baytown, Texas. And Corey Roper right now is running in position number 8. So you've got a number of drivers that, just as you pointed out, Alex, would like to leave Talladega Superspeedway with a top 10 finish. A little luck, maybe it's a top 5. And if everything is going your way, maybe a chance to go to victory lane at one of the great tracks in all of NASCAR, the Talladega Superspeedway.
You only have to lead 1 lap to win here at Talladega, and that is the final lap. As a matter of fact, 5 of the last 6 winners here at Talladega led only the final lap. So as Cole Custer said a moment ago, you truly don't know. You're in this thing all the way to the checkered flag.
All right, I'll give you another stat then. You dropped a good one, I'll give you one. 9 out of the last 18 races here at Talladega have gone into overtime. We're getting close to that point. Cole is smiling over there. Cole, you're thinking that we've probably got at least one more caution in us. What's your thoughts?
I'd go for way more than one more caution. It is these guys, they are going to be pushing and shoving the hardest they've had all day. So we've seen that these trucks can get squirrely when they get pushing and shoving, so we're going to see what happens here.
Here they come. Remember, you cannot lock bumpers and stay continuously bumper locked. We understand by virtue of Dylan Welch that Grant Enfinger has been warned and cannot afford to do it anymore. Green flag goes back in the air. Through the gearbox they go. We're racing once again in Talladega.
Into the turn 1 banking. Grant Enfinger doesn't have to do any pushing. He'll take the push. And this time it's from Christian Eckes. They jump away very quickly. Single file to go 1 and 2. Enfinger, Eckes, right behind them, the 3rd place machine of Lawless Allen.
A very disorganized restart, so much so that the front 8 have gotten out in single file formation. Everybody now just trying to get to the bottom of the racetrack, led by Grant Enfinger.
They maintain that single file formation at the bottom of turns 3 and 4. And man, Eckes is really giving Grant Enfinger the business right in the middle of the corner, turn 3 and 4. He's making contact with the rear bumper. He does so again at the exit. Lawless Allen in 3rd, Taylor Gray in 4th.
Boy, the field broke apart in a hurry, and right now they are nose to tailgate with 8 to go. Calm before the storm. Grant Enfinger at the front of the field. Eckes, Allen, Taylor Gray, Ryan Reed.
Whatever challenge was expected in the outside lane on that restart vaporized almost immediately. Everybody's snuggling the double yellow line at the bottom of the racetrack.
Everybody in single file formation down to the bottom of the Alabama Gang super stretch. The literal calm before the storm. Question is, who's going to break out and when are they going to do it? Right now, it's all Enfinger and Eckes to 3.
Enfinger tries to open up a little bit of room between himself and Christian Eckes, maybe half a truck length, maybe not. Everybody's still riding that low line. Eckes in 2nd. 3rd is Lawless Allen. He gets a push from Taylor Gray.
Just a little bit of breathing room for race leader Grant Enfinger. That goes away immediately right here in the middle of the tri-oval. Christian Eckes, Lawless Allen, Taylor Gray, Ryan Reed stack up 1 through 5.
And I'm not sure Grant Enfinger wants to have any daylight, or at least very much daylight, between himself and his pursuers, because that allows them to gang up, get a run, and go blowing on by. For the moment, Enfinger right on the front bumper of Christian Eckes.
Got them all lined up at the back door, and nobody is stepping out of line. Everybody very disciplined right now, not wanting to give up any track position, not wanting to give up any real estate in what will be a battle for the win.
A Chevy, a Ford, and a Toyota occupy the top 4 spots. Again, Enfinger shining right in the middle of the corner, turns 3 and 4, but Eckes able to catch him upon exit. Lawless Allen in 3rd, Taylor Gray in 4th. Ryan Reed now rounds out the top 5.
And Dan Hubbard, you talk about a pair of Chevrolets, a Ford and a Toyota. It's Grant Enfinger, Christian Eckes, Lawless Allen, Taylor Gray, Ryan Reed, top 5. We're down to 6 to go. Running in position number 6, Tyler Ankrum in front of Stuart Friesen. Corey Heim, Ty Majeski, Alex Hayden, and Rajah Caruth has rallied back up to 10th.
As you look and listen to this leaderboard, Cole Custer, does anything jump off the page at you?
Well, everybody right now, they're trying to plot their move to win this race. That's single file. You're trying to find a drafting partner. Two guys that have found a drafting partner are Ryan Reed and Tyler Ankrum, running 5th and 6th. So can they make a move? I think within 3 to go, it's go time. So you got to try and get that lead. There's not a ton of cars in the draft right now. So if you can get that lead, there's a good chance you can keep it.
Right now, they are nose to tailgate, waiting for the move to come. You know it's coming. Question is, when will it happen? 5 to go here at Talladega. Grant Enfinger, Dave Moody leading the field back up in front of you.
Who will be the first to pull the pin on the grenade and launch their attack toward the front of the pack? Rajah Caruth pulls to the outside lane, back around the 9th position. He's got a couple of drafting help cars behind him, but not enough, at least not yet.
Now here comes another one that will jump up in front of Rajah. The outside line beginning to develop, and it's starting to form. It's developing for about the 7th position. Corey Heim, that driver that jumps up in front of Rajah.
He does jump up in front of Rajah, and they have cracked the top 10. Heim on the outside of Stuart Friesen. They are side by side. Meanwhile, it starts to get intense up front as Eckes once again rides the bumper of Grant Enfinger.
Christian Eckes has been dragging the brake just a bit, exiting turn 4 the last couple of laps, and quickly sucks right up on the tailgate of the race-leading truck of Grant Enfinger. 4 laps to go in Talladega as they rumble to turn 1.
Enfinger's going to play some masterful defense, or he'll have to if he's going to win this one, because they are all lined up on his back bumper. The outside lane, no better right now than a side-by-side battle for 7th place.
And that would be Stuart Friesen that will occupy that inside line. The outside line doing everything it can to get rolling. It's just not happening. All attention right now at the front of the field. Grant Enfinger, Christian Eckes, 1 and 2.
For the moment, Grant Enfinger is able to keep Christian Eckes at bay, but you can tell everybody is starting to plan their next move. They are genteelly going around turns 3 and 4. That's going to change over the course of the next few laps.
At the front of the field right now, it is 16 trucks, all 16 on the lead lap, separated last time by 1.3 seconds. They're all running right together. Bottom of the racetrack, nose to tailgate.
The outside line challenge disappeared 1 lap ago here in turn 2 when Corey Heim got hit from behind, got turned sideways. Everybody behind him had to check up. They had no choice but to fall back in line, single file.
Leaders exit turn 2. Grant Enfinger's mirrors are filled with the entire field. Right now he's got Eckes at the back door. Lawless Allen, Taylor Gray, Ryan Reed, the top 5 back to the corner.
And in that top 5, absolutely nobody stepping out of line. They are all riding that lower groove. Grant Enfinger drifts up maybe just a little bit, but certainly not giving the good look to Christian Eckes as the field races off turn 4.
Everybody playing nice for the time being. Nose to tailgate again. Huddled up on the double yellow line. That's out of bounds if you try to advance your position down there. 2 laps to go in Talladega.
Somebody's got to go as they hit the banking in turn number 2. So far, everybody stays single file. Now Rajah Caruth will bust out. He'll go to the top side, back around 12th place. He's only got 2 trucks to work with him.
Nobody in front of him is going to jump up there now. Here comes one more. The outside line is going to give it another run. Time is running out here at Talladega. Nobody in front of the inside of the top 5. Top 6 decide to go. They're all single file.
Keeping an eye on that outer groove. It is Daniel Guy leading that group, but it may be a case of too little, too late. It is still Grant Enfinger as Christian Eckes gets the left side tires on the yellow line of the apron. He's getting very aggressive. So too is Lawless Allen.
Back off 4, back to the tri-oval for 1 more lap at Talladega. White flag is in the air. Daniel Dye has got the outside line rolling. Is it too little, too late?
Daniel Dye back around 7th, 8th position. He's got drafting help, but he hasn't got time. They continue to chase Grant Enfinger. Nobody's taken their shot as of yet.
First side-by-side battle is for 7th. Now everybody starts to bail from the bottom of the racetrack. Halfway down the backstretch, half a lap to go. Enfinger now in first. Eckes in second. Lawless Allen in third. Taylor Gray in fourth will lead the outside.
Here they come into turn 3 and 4. It is Grant Enfinger with a healthy advantage over Christian Eckes. Put it at 3/4 of a truck. He is staying down low. Now he drifts up high off of turn 4. Eckes has got the momentum. So too does Wallace Allen.
Grant Enfinger blocks the top, comes to the bottom. He'll block that. Here's a 3-wide move, and now a truck spins. It's Tyler Ankrum. They're crashing behind him. Checkered flag is in the air, and Grant Enfinger gets to the checkered flag. The Fairhope, Alabama native wins the Love's RV Stop 225. Grant Enfinger picks up the win with a severe crash. Right behind him, a bunch of trucks slide down and pound the inside safer barrier. Unofficially, Taylor Gray will be second. Daniel Dye sliding across the line third. Raja Caruth fourth, and Lawless Allen fifth. Let's go to the Grant Enfinger pit.
And you can hear the excitement behind us. Jeff Stankiewicz is the crew chief for Grant Enfinger as the high fives and hugs continue. Jeff, what kind of accomplishment is this for this CR7 group? Not only do you win here, but you guys get to go race for a championship.
Yeah, that's a big deal for us. Cody Robaugh, Paps, Granny, they have put so much money and effort into this deal. Took a chance on a lot of us to build this race team, and to go win for them, this means more than anything. You can see the emotion in Cody. He's over there. He's very emotional. Not only do we get the first win for the company, but we're going to Phoenix for a championship. So been a little embarrassed with our last 3 races in this playoff, but I think we got trucks coming down the road. I think we can still win a championship. Man, I'm so happy for this team, this family. This has been great.
They got it done when it counted. Congratulations. Jeff Stankiewicz and his driver Grant Enfinger win at Talladega, but they'll race for a championship.
Boy, what a finish it was here this afternoon across the line. Grant Enfinger scores the win. He punches his ticket to Phoenix, where he'll race for a championship.
Season ago, there was some uncertainty about what was next. Goes to a new race team with plenty of question marks. They said early in the year, it's going to take some time.
And it did. It took time.
And we saw in the summer months, they turned it up. Once the playoffs began, they weren't where they wanted to be. But they were able to survive, advance to the round of 8. The door is open, and he jumps right through, winning at Talladega and going back to Phoenix.
I know it means so much to Grant to get this essentially a brand new team. CR7, Cody Robaugh said, hey, we're going to give you what you need to compete at this level. We saw Grant jump in this truck a couple years ago when he was running part-time and do a great job. Brought Jeff Stankiewicz on board. Jeff's the former championship crew chief with Sheldon Creed here in the Truck Series. And they're going to Phoenix with a chance to win the championship.
39 years old from Fairhope, Alabama. And he gets to celebrate with a home crowd. Here's Regan.
Grant Enfinger, the first driver this season. So go ahead and cast a check all the way to Phoenix with this win today. Grant, your second win at your home track. Talk me through this last lap. Coming to the start-finish line, you had to fend them off. How did you make that happen?
That's Tim Fedewa right there. We know stuff was going to get dicey. The biggest thing, we didn't make all the perfect decisions today, but we had a champion power equipment Chevy that was fast enough to get it done today. So even though we chose outside once or twice that maybe we shouldn't have or whatever, that was Harry coming right there. Knew Taylor was coming with a run. Tim told me to go up, then he told me to come down, and it's just Talladega right there. So hopefully all the fans enjoyed it. It's nothing like winning at your hometown, home track. Got my family here. First win with my daughter and my son here, so looking forward to that. And just on top of that, we get to race for a championship in Phoenix. So the first round did not go well. We snaked through there, and now we won here. So thank you to Jeff Stankiewicz. Thank you to Cody Robaugh, Larry Berg, Granny, everybody that makes this possible. Everybody at Chevrolet. We had a really fast Chevy here. Same truck we had at Daytona. We didn't have anything to run with them at Daytona. Here we had a truck that could win all day.
You mentioned Cody Robaugh, Jeff Stankiewicz. This CR7 team, essentially a brand new race team this season. What's it mean to get this team to victory lane with everything you've worked so hard for this year with these guys?
You know, Cody's been racing for a long time, so it's not a first-year team, but we revamped everything. Came over there. We're fortunate enough to bring Jeff Stankiewicz over there. Michael Sheldon was already there. A lot of really, really good people followed us over here. George Stone, Jim Pierce, a lot of guys at the shop, Doug Howell, Garrett Lambert. There are just so many people that make this team. It's a little bit of the little team that could, but we have great resources with our friends over there at MHR. Obviously, great resources from everybody at Team Chevy. So we've been knocking on the door. I know it's a speedway race, but we've been knocking on the door at all the tracks. So, you know, I feel like we stumbled that first round of the playoffs, but it really doesn't matter now. So able to win our way to Phoenix. Now we can just focus on that. So looking forward to having some fun the next couple races, but a championship's on the line now.
All right, get to victory lane and enjoy your family. Grant Enfinger wins at Talladega.
Fifth caution of the day came out as Grant was crossing the start-finish line. Let's go back and see what happened on that final lap.
Well, we saw the pushing and shoving, and you knew how aggressive it was going to be. And you could see Daniel Dye at the top of the screen there pushing the 18. And right there, the 18 just runs out of places to go into the back of the 17, and Danny pushed him around. But Daniel can't see what's happening ahead of him. That's just Talladega.
Yeah, you can't see through that truck that's in front of you. And the 17 of Taylor Gray lost all his momentum. We're going to see it again here. We had a great run going here, but he's going to lose his momentum. And Daniel's already pushing the 18 of Tyler Ankrum. Took a lot of good trucks with it, though. You hate to see that happen.
I think the most... see what happens with
Eckes.
Eckes is he...
See right behind the 9. I mean, Ryan Reed trying to get him going.
His push gone bad, right, Bill?
Sure was.
Some of these finishes going to be unofficial because of the way this race ended. But right now, Daniel Dye being scored in the 3rd position. Wow. And Lawless Allen 5th. It would be his first career top 5. Again, those results unofficial.
See Daniel hands off the wheel, making sure he doesn't injure his wrists.
There's Ryan Reed. You saw the hard, significant contact and the fire. Has his helmet hose still hooked up. It's been a while since Ryan's been in a race vehicle. I know Ryan, he's in good shape, but that was a hard hit there. Just trying to collect his thoughts there. You can see him still taking his helmet off.
Anytime there's flames involved, the fumes and such is really challenging to fight through, and that's what Ryan was doing.
You and I talked off the top of the show, the margins at Talladega. It's so close. You saw it right there. Final lap through the tri-oval. The carnage behind Grant Enfinger, who's won for an 11th time. It's all over for the Craftsman Truck Series at Talladega Super Speedway. Grant Enfinger gets the win in the Love's RV Stop 225. 11 career wins, but this is the first time he's doubled down, winning a second race here. First time he's had a repeat victory at a track coming into today. 10 wins at 10 different venues. Updated leaderboard. Enfinger going to Phoenix, plus 30 for Eckes and Heim.
Yeah, fairly comfortable, though. Remember, 2 races left, 2 big races left at Homestead and Martinsville. Some of the guys say Martinsville just as much of a wild card as Talladega. You see Raza just 5 points below.
What about Taylor Gray? He went through a lot today, Mamba, but look at that finish. Great job by Taylor.
Yeah, I'm down here with Taylor Gray. Taylor, second place, but before the race, you told me the mission was to survive. You slid through the grass, still made it back up. Would you say the mission was accomplished?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, right, I can't be too upset. You're pretty lucky if you can finish second at one of these things. So
can't thank all my Tricon guys enough for sticking with me and sticking with it and staying in it all day. Just honestly, just didn't get the stage points we really needed to really go anywhere in points, and I don't know. I got to figure out where I'm living life wrong. I come so close to winning some of these things and just can't do it.
Regan?
Oh, Raja Caruth, we're standing here watching that replay of you at the end of the race. First off, during the day today, so many ups and downs. You overcome the speeding penalty, overcome the left front slide and getting onto pit road. But then at the end, you make it through to finish fourth. Not a bad day all in all.
Yeah, just pretty mad at myself for taking us out of the game there with pitting. We got lucky with catching that yellow. But I'm just super proud of everybody on this 100cars.com Silverado group. I got to thank Mr. H and Miss Linda and everybody at Ally for supporting me and letting me run this thing full time. So I'm pretty frustrated that I took us out of it there, because we were right there with the 9 and the 19 there before the pit cycle started, and we're right in the mix. So wish I could have executed better, but to leave Talladega a little bit better than we came in is good. So props to Grant. He did a great job today, and he's one of the best plate racers. So no surprise that he was the class of the field today.
All right, can't complain. Gained a couple points today. A nice fourth place finish for Raja Caruth. Mama?
Stage points in both stages, a top 5, not a bad day at the office here at Talladega, Wallace.
No, definitely not a bad day. Super proud of everybody at Brown Brothers Racing, Auto Docket, Auto Park It, Auto Charge It. The work all year is kind of showing, but I can't help but feel like it's a missed opportunity. I think if I caught the block on the 17 right, he would have had no choice to push me, and I think I could have won the race. So, I mean, 5th feels good, but after how close it feels, I just knew I couldn't ride in 3rd. I had to try something, and it just missed the block, unfortunately.
Happy about it, but wanted a little bit more. Regan?
Well, Tyler Ankrum comes home in 14th today. Tyler, you had a lot of ups, a lot of downs. It looked like you were going to recover from an early race incident there, and as you start coming to the start-finish line, unfortunately, it didn't work out. How frustrating is it to leave here and know you got to make up some more points?
It's incredibly frustrating to know you're in position like that at the tri-oval and you spin out. So it sucks, but our line of Chevrolet was pretty damn good all day, pretty quick. So it was just really hard just get anything going in either lane. Yeah, right there, just getting a good push in 17 and just kind of looks like 43 trying to push me square and just went to the right a little bit and spun me out. Misjudged it, but that's part of speedway racing. I mean, you can't ask for much of a better push than that. So it sucks, but we're gonna go to Homestead and try to win now.
All right, 2 more chances to punch your ticket on to Phoenix for the championship. Thanks, Tyler. Mamba?
Standing by with Nick Sanchez. Nick, you just looked at the leaderboard and you said, I'm only 20 out. Well, that could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, I could have. Going into race 2 last year, I believe I was 20 out, so what's to do it again? Yeah, definitely a frustrating day, right? We took the lead twice, wrecked from the lead twice, and the truck's still rolling, and probably could have won given the opportunity again. So, yeah, pretty frustrated. Kind of got screwed there, having whatever NASCAR officials had going on. I had to come down pit road again after they took the green flag, just for them to okay my spoiler and send me on my way. So that definitely took me out of contention at the end of the race, and wherever I ended up on track is where I finished, and sadly that's what happened. So yeah, really not happy with the way it ended.
Nick Sanchez, not happy, but looking forward to getting in the playoffs with the next race. Adam?
Thank you, Mamba. Your final thoughts, fellas, on Talladega?
Well, we talked about from the beginning how intense it was going to be all day long, making the right moves. Grant Enfinger absolutely did that all day long. Very entertaining affair, and as we expected, a lot of action.
I mean, I love the job that Grant Enfinger did. He was there from the start. Again, he almost swept the thing. He only finished second in one of the stages, won the other stage, wins the race. But we saw a lot of young drivers really do a nice job. We saw Daniel Dye do a nice job. We saw Lawless Allen. We just heard from him. He did a nice job. Ryan Reed hadn't been in a truck in 4 years, and he gets a top 10 finish. So again, it lived up to exactly what we thought it was going to be. Unfortunately, we had some wrecks.
Grant Enfinger hits the trifecta, wins at his home track, his family is here, and he's going back to the championship 4. Next time we see you, race 2 in the round of 8, 3 weeks from now, get ready for the Homestead Miami Speedway. Saturday, October 26th, we're on the air, noon Eastern time on FS1. And don't forget the ARCA season finale tomorrow from Toledo on FS2 at 4 Eastern time. With Michael Waltrip, Bill Parsons, I'm Adam Alexander. So long from Talladega.